Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is now
Hello.
8:20. We're close enough to it, and we are live. I'm sorry. There's been a lot that happened this weekend. If you didn't know,
Mm-hmm.
we
Yeah,
Oh
uh
yes.
we've been
we
having good
definitely
times.
we definitely have been having the most positive experience. So, really quickly, just want to shout out Yui Kai channel over here on Twitch and her YouTube channel. Uh, Moon, are you? Yeah, Moon, you're a mod here, right?
Yes, I am.
On the channel. Please go
Yep.
ahead and post the link to her YouTube channel and to her Twitch channel. We want to support the crap out of her. She is super sweet, super adorable. We definitely want to do that and show love to the people who show love back to us. Her community has been unbelievably kind. We came in as she did last night for her stream. We were there. Well, yeah, last night for her stream, we jumped in and we're hanging out and we watched her react to the last 3 episodes of Helsing Ultimate Abridged. So if you want to watch a Gremlin VTuber, watch some good abridged content, go over and check her out. She is awesome. And not we're not just saying that because she reacted to our stuff, though. I mean, hey, that does help. But no,
Mm-hmm.
she's just man, she's just a positivity bomb, and her
Absolutely.
community
Oh
has
yeah.
definitely been that way too. So I appreciate them and all her
Ooh, I
mods
should
that have
probably.
talked to us and stuff like that. Like big ups to her community and big ups to her for their like immediate like acceptance of us. We
And
just
I have
saw.
posted the
Mm,
links
yeah, thank
in
you. I see that.
the chat.
Yeah. Uh, but yeah, we basically um we kind of saw her. We basically just saw her reaction to our solo leveling abridged, which was great, and then from there it kind of snowballed into
The rest is
the
history.
rest of it, which is amazing. But I went over to her Discord server and joined that up just to post in the general chat saying thank you and letting her know how grateful we were that she reacted to our content and all that stuff, and just just kind of spreading the love back, sending back warm sentiment. And I didn't think not thinking anything of it. I'm just like, yeah, I'll put this there. I may come back and look at it later, see if maybe she sees it. But if she doesn't, whatever. No, oh my god, I couldn't leave. Like immediate response from the community of like, oh my god, you guys are so cool. Blah, blah. Like just and not like fawning over us. It's just like, no, dude, you guys, yeah, absolutely. We watched it. We thought it was great, but like, how cool that you guys even showed up to say thank you. Or like, well, yeah, it's kind of one of those things that we do because we don't get a lot of reactions, especially not anymore. But yeah, and then finding out like that she is a big fan of slime and has a Rimuru plushie.
Mm-hmm.
The shield. She
Your
finds
tube.
out about our Konosuba stuff because like she has an aqua plushie, and then like Shield Hero stuff. Like she's into the Shield Hero stuff, and so we're just like, oh my god, we're the channel for her. So there we go, guys. Just wanted to give a huge shout out to both her and her community for being such awesome, awesome people.
Just give
That
us
being
the
said,
warms and fuzzies, you know?
the warms and fuzzies indeed. Uh, but yeah, that's how this is gonna be. I guess we should kind of move on to what we're gonna do today, but we should probably start with introductions since we're all just PNGs down here below. For any new people jumping in and hanging out with us, hello, I'm Richie Roberts. I am the Rimuru icon down there. I don't voice Rimuru. I'm just the voice in his head, aka Great Sage. Uh,
Oh.
yeah.
Thank
Which
God, I thought he was insane.
I mean, yeah, kind of.
Oh God, chat the voice. It's back.
Oh no. Don't you wanna be hot like me? No. All right. But yeah,
I don't wanna.
good
no.
times. And because of and quick shout out on the Fat Dog side, our buddy Moon Moon here,
Hi.
has gotten his streaming abilities back.
Yes.
And
Ooh.
we kind of sort of tested them today. There was a bit of tech issues we were working out,
Oh,
but
yeah.
we should be back. We should be back with the official stuff tomorrow, as I
Mhm.
believe you're going to be
I
playing
will
Resi
be-
2 remake. So
Yes, probably gonna start that around I don't
Hey,
know,
fam.
maybe
And
3
go ahead-
p.m. Eastern.
go ahead and plug your stream, dude. Go ahead and plug your stream so
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can
So,
plug your channel in the
yeah,
your link to your
plug me as
channel in
well.
the description, so we can get to that. But Shem, could you introduce yourself, please?
Hi, my name is Shem Shem. I'm the voice of Soe in the Slimer Bridge series. I'm a voice actor. Don't have anything to plug yet, but maybe that'll
You're
change in
also-
the future.
You're also
Huh.
Mr. You're also Mr. Lee.
Oh, that's right.
Lee.
I'm also
Yeah.
Mr. Lee. I was trying to, but
No,
what was
he's
it?
Kim.
So-
Or-
Oh, sorry,
Impossible.
Mr. Kim. That's
Ah!
No,
right.
no.
Uh,
Hold on,
Lee is
because I
Mr.
Wait,
sent it
Monarch,
all-
is that you? No wonder you're such a great voice actor.
Look,
No,
he's
it's
saying shit Kim.
No, my name is Shiego.
So yeah, he is Kim.
Ah,
That's not the guy who loses an arm.
mhm.
Oh no, wait, that's Fenris.
Yeah,
Fenris is the guy
yeah.
that loses an arm.
Yeah,
No.
yeah, he's the red.
I don't know why I switched them up in my head. Yeah, Fenris is the one that loses an arm. You're the one that points the sword at him and goes, "Don't talk about my boy Jim Moon like that."
Exactly.
Yes, I'm the one-armed man, says Fenris.
It's like, bruh.
So that's the link to my
So, yeah.
channel. I'm gonna be playing probably around, I don't know, maybe after I eat. So
Yeah.
sometime in the afternoon.
In the afternoon, I'll be
maybe-
jumping in and joining him in call to hang out and
Yeah, so we're looking.
watch his
I'll
progress.
say probably around like 2 p.m. Eastern.
Oh, I
Eastern Daylight.
forgot. I forgot. I probably am going to do a modded version as well of Resi, specific Resi 2, specifically as a shout out to Yui Kai, where I will have Mr. X as Buff Paimon. Yeah, I think I'm
Good.
gonna do that. That's really funny. We should also do a Christmas stream at some point of Resident Evil 2 Remake, because there is a mod that turns Mr. X into like a beefy blonde woman in like a Santa outfit, and she can ride on a sleigh, and then Leon can run around in a ugly Christmas sweater that says RPD on it. It's so stupid. I love it. Oh man. I really will have to run away from Mr. X though, because if I do the version that I think I'm doing with Buff Paimon, it means it's also going to be playing the Thomas the Tank Engine theme when it's around, so I have to avoid Mr. X just for copyright reasons.
Hmm.
I mean, I'm not posting it on YouTube, but I think I might get in trouble with Twitch. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, that's kind of what we're doing, what we're looking at, and it's very funny. Shim has done. Sonic, it is your turn to introduce yourself. I know you're of two minds about things now, but.
Okay.
You there? Hello? Did my Discord cut out on me? Oh no. Hello? Hello? Oh no.
Okay, well,
Hi.
that was
Hi,
fun.
hello.
It's the first time that's ever
There we go.
happened.
Yeah, that was a weirdly timed blip.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Discord
I
was
don't know
Anyway,
what
yeah, you
happened
just
there.
cut out, and I'm like, oh, is that my
No,
cue? It's
you
like, oh
did.
wait,
You cut out
Bridget?
too on my end, and I'm like, I'm trying to reach out to you guys, find out what's going on. Okay.
Oh, so was it a Discord thing?
No,
It might
it
have
was
been
an
a Discord
internet
thing.
Oh.
No, it's an internet thing. I don't know what's going on. There's a blip in my internet. Thankfully, it did.
Yeah, it was a blip in mine too.
Yeah, mine too.
Maybe the
That's why I'm
ISP
thinking
might
it's
be
a
doing
Discord.
Okay, so it was Discord who just
Oh,
blipped
okay.
for
It was Discord. It blipped for a
Yeah.
second. Okay, so it was an.
Because like
absolute
all
hit.
4 of us having
Well-
the exact same weirdness. No.
Yeah.
You gotta understand. You gotta understand. There's a problem here because now I'm on my Wi-Fi instead of my wired connection. So that's why I thought it was. What you call it?
Okay, he
Yeah,
just stepped
same. I
away.
don't want to run a wire here because of the way it would have to run it. It'd be weird.
I thought it was a internet thing because I'm on my wireless connection and not, or my Wi-Fi connection and not my wired connection. That's why. Let me.
Okay,
check.
I think it's okay for now. I think it's just a random hiccup.
Okay.
At least I want to just think that's what's going on.
Thank God, I'm back to wired. I did not know what was going on with that. Like, cause like I have the strong internet, but yeah, it went from wired to Wi-Fi, and I was like, oh no, indeed. All right, so let's try that again. Let's try that again, guys.
Yeah.
Sonic, please introduce yourself.
Hello, I am the Yoshiashi you see on the screen. I also go by Snugglevelocity on Twitch, if you want to go check me out there sometimes.
Link to your channel in the chat, please.
Oh, yep, I will do that.
We need to
Well, I'm
start
doing
getting
that.
into that where we do like, we're like, hey guys, I in Fat Dog I'm this, and then outside of Fat Dog I'm this. So yeah.
Fair.
Well, speaking
We
of who I
definitely need to
play,
start
I
doing that.
play everyone. No one needs any introduction to who I play. If you've come from either this server
Two-Face.
or Yuki,
You Two-Face.
I play Two-Face, but
With
I
your
also
split
play
personality.
Park. You know, otherwise known as. No one told me that it was time to split. I think he said it was time to split, or Sonic Summer, as some of you would know.
It's like it's time to. I thought he said time to split.
Literal split.
Dude, honestly,
And-
I did not think that was gonna have as much of an impact. I was just like, most people were like, haha, the funny joke. And then, oh my God, Yui just was like, she is relentless with
She
time
will
to
not
do
let
that.
up on
She
it.
will not let up.
No, it's.
She is Bully
well, I
McGuire
think-
for you, buddy.
Well, I think what first happened was she did the reaction. Someone in her chat like made a joke that she reacted to, and I literally like on Twitter and then like in the Discord, I'm like, I gotta go sleep with this now, thanks.
Yep.
And then the following day, it's like, oh,
you brought
it's
it
you.
on
And then
yourself.
the
Oh,
the
it
cut
gets so
the
bad.
the man who's half a person or whatever,
Mhm.
and then the whole bit with Alucard getting split in half happened.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, you know what? Fine. You were not referring
Alucard-
me to Sonic Sama.
Yamate, Walter, you're tearing me apart. And then she stops it and just roasts Sonic for like 5
Oh,
seconds.
yeah.
It's great.
I clipped it. So
oh,
yeah.
you did clip it. We're going to be sharing that. It's freaking great.
Oh, it's
I love
great.
it. But yeah. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be reading Volume 3 of Mushoku Tensei, Chapter 8. And of course, as always, we are not a replacement for the actual light novels. So if you would like to actually read them, please go get them, pick them up. You can grab them
Art.
physically if they're available again. I know back when I was trying to get them physically, it was kind of limited. So they were a bit more expensive at that point, but you can get them on Kindle or over on Bookwalker.
Are the 3 of us gonna introduce ourselves?
You did the introduction.
We already did that. What do you mean?
No.
Yeah.
Sonic introduced himself.
No, you guys
You
were
did. You were the
actually
first
heard.
one.
What?
Yes.
Yeah,
what
we
do you
no,
mean
we did.
we were
we did.
heard?
The
we won.
blip. Yeah, Moon. You guys
The
win.
blip was after our intros, man.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you
You
did.
didn't go. Oh, were you
No,
on the
you
stream?
did.
Yes, you
Moon
did.
did, and then Shem, and then the blip happened right before I was gonna do my intro.
No,
Then
you
the
didn't
blip
say
happened.
who you didn't say who you were in Fat Dog. You should probably state
No.
what voices
Oh,
you
yeah.
did in Fat Dog. You didn't do
Wait,
that.
wait, wait.
Forgot that.
Hold on. Were you talking about the? Are you talking about the? Were we talking about our plugs? Because I didn't think of that as the intro. I thought that was.
Yeah, that was
just
part of
plugging.
the intro. That was part
Yeah,
of the
you
Yeah.
intro.
plugged your Twitch,
Okay.
but you didn't plug
That's
who
where
you
I'm
are
getting
in Fat Dog.
confused. Yeah.
Mm.
No,
Yeah, that's the
okay.
intro. You said I'm Moon. You know, do your thing. Do it.
Okay,
Hurry.
I'm
Who are you
Moonlight
playing?
Sparks. I'm your Minister of Archaeology, and I
No,
voice
that's-
Jin Woo Sung. That's what I do. That is my thing on Sundays. Okay, hush.
Did you hear me plug
No,
Anime
Fenris,
Church
I
at
have not
all?
been drinking, but I need to. Jesus.
I want to start
No, but
drinking
I'm
now.
about
You
to
got to
start.
read today, though. You can't.
Dude, my guy.
Oh, wait. Is it Shem reading narrator or
No,
you
it's
reading
I have
narrator?
no
I'm
idea.
narrating.
Oh,
And
you're
Yeah,
narrating?
it's
Okay,
his turn.
sorry.
And
Yeah.
screw you guys. Because of that, I'm having blueberry wine.
Wow.
Oh, that actually sounds
That's
I've never
okay.
actually-
I literally have a box full of alcohol. Don't get me started.
We really shouldn't.
Don't give
but,
me
like,
this shit
I
today.
tell you
bitch.
what. Next time that if we're in a stream with Yui, start drinking. Get happy.
Oh, huh.
I want to
Oh,
see
I will.
that. I want to see that happen. I want to
Oh,
hear
dear.
her.
You want
I want to know her reaction to drunk Moon.
That's gonna be too much giggling. That's gonna be way too much giggling between the two of us.
Also, don't forget.
Yeah, you got
also,
to do
not
the
forget-
Jesus wants a hug.
Oh my god.
Oh, don't forget. You also have to get like a pirate hat and coat at some point because we need pirate Jesus now for some reason.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yar, that could be a thing that'll happen.
Oh, no, not speak like a pirate. Blessed be ye, my child.
Blessings of rum and heaven be upon ye.
Make
A
sure to
pirate who can
sing.
make his own
Make
wine
sure
and
to
rum.
sing my hymn. Har har diddly dee. I are a pirate.
Do what you want, cause a pirate is free. You are a pirate. Yo ho and hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Never just free.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, they are very horse people. They will just go
Oh
right.
my
You don't have to
God.
pay them or anything.
You're so dumb. All right.
Mm.
So now,
See, the best
starting
way I'm gonna have
with
to do
chapter
that is-
8.
Oh.
Oh man. Starting with chapter
Okay.
8 of volume 3. So ladies and gentlemen, open your Mushoku Tensei holy books. Provided by the goddess Roxy herself. To
Roxy or her
to-
panties?
yes. Open them to volume 3, chapter 8, The Adventurer's Inn. All right.
Wait a minute, where was she keeping the books?
In another dimension, because you know
I'll tell you
magic.
this. I'll tell you this. The paper smells more than just fresh.
Why does it smell fishy?
You haven't even gotten to like the world library yet. Calm down. Yeah. All right. So, by the time we left the guild, it was getting dark outside. The sky was still bright, but the streets of Rikarisu seemed oddly gloomy. After a second, I realized it was a side effect of its location. The tall walls of the crater had cast the city into shadow well before the sun actually set. It'd probably be pitch black in no time. I
Yes, we
Guess
should
we should-
find an inn right away.
No, you're not voicing all the characters, my dude.
I didn't know for sure, so I just went
No,
for it.
I just said when we get to like the Adventurers Guild and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay, just making sure.
I was specific.
Well, I didn't know if we were already at the guild area, more or less.
No, they left the guild area.
You were at the inn.
But
you were
wait,
at the
I
end.
missed
Where
it.
we're headed. You weren't
Well,
there.
we're gonna go
Wait,
back
were you
later.
just not there last week?
I know, I'm just fucking with you.
Okay, fuck you. This is why, sir, that you get split down the middle. Okay, you can't make a
Yeah.
decision one way or the other.
When we have to spend half our time just placating both of you.
God, I don't know why that reminded me of like Naruto learning how to do the Rasengan. It's like half of me has to focus on one thing, the other person has to focus on the other thing. And then it's like trying to look in two different directions at the same time. And then Kakashi's like, okay, Shadow Clone. I'm looking in two different directions now.
And
That's
Naruto's
it.
like,
I need to
"Well,
learn the
fuck,
Shadow
man."
Clone Jutsu.
No, he already knew the Shadow Clone Jutsu
yeah,
at that
no.
point.
He just
No,
had to
I
use them to
specifically
do the
need to
thing.
learn
Oh,
it.
you need to learn it. Okay, gotcha. All right,
Well,
so moving on.
Yeah.
I guess we should find an inn right away. Eris looked over at me with a puzzled expression. Can we just camp outside the city or something? Oh, come on. Might as well get a good night's sleep in a real bed when we're staying in town, right? You think? Reger didn't seem to have an opinion one way or the other. When we were camping out in the field, he'd often handled the night watch duties all by himself since he could sense approaching enemies even when he was half asleep. I'd woken a couple of times in the middle of the night to the sound of something exploding, only to realize that Reacher had just sliced apart some hapless monster. It wasn't exactly conducive to a relaxing rest. Anyway, an inn was definitely in order. For one thing, I was starving. We could probably buy something in the city, but we still had a ton of dried meat left over from the other day. It was probably smarter to finish that and keep our expenses down for now. But Rickalicious, thank you for the
Hello.
13 months. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Hello.
Sounds very
Rick.
tasty.
It is. It is. It's very tasty. All right. Enough that I at least wanted someplace to sit down and stuff my face in peace. Hey, Rudius, look at that! Eris's voice was full of excitement. Curious as to what she'd spotted, I looked up to find the inner walls of the crater had begun shining faintly. The light seemed to be glowing brighter by the second. This is amazing! I've never seen anything like it before! By the time the sun set completely, the crater walls were brilliantly illuminating the stone and clay buildings of the city. It felt like we'd stumbled into a lit-up amusement park. Wow, that's really something, isn't it? Of course, I'd spent my previous life in a place that never got completely dark any time, so I wasn't quite as awestruck as Eris. Still, this was definitely a magical spectacle. Why were the walls shining like that anyway? Those are illuminators. You know something about this? Raiden? Raiden? Who's that? Was there a sword god a few generations ago with that name? Naturally, the reference was completely lost on Reacher. There probably wasn't a single person in this entire world who would have understood it. Kind of depressing. Sorry, I used to know someone by that name, and he knew all sorts of weird things, too. It was just a slip of the tongue. I see. Reacher reached down and patted me gently on the head, like a man comforting a child who'd reminisced about a deceased parent. Just for the record, Raiden isn't my dad's name or anything. My old man's name is Pat or Pablo or something like that. Pretty decent father, pretty crappy human being. You mean Paul? Did he
Damn, Pat or Pablo or
I'm
something like
sitting right
God.
here, Rudius.
that. Jeez, man, that's
Way to
cold.
cut. Way to
Yeah.
cut deep.
Okay.
You can just see Paul
Wow.
sitting somewhere like crouching, just. "Ooh."
Anyway.
Might as well just take a knife and split my heart in two.
Wow. You're definitely not beating those split allegations, are you, my guy?
Damn.
I'm
You're
feeding
just-
into them a little
Yeah,
bit.
exactly. Yeah.
I'm like half and half on that. Like,
You're-
half of it I hate, half of it I love.
Just keep digging that hole.
No, I can't. That doesn't. That's work. There's no two of the hole.
There's
That's not how that works. I'd have to bridge it.
No, he has to make up his minds about it. There's no two ways about it.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh.
I mean,
don't
half of
tell me
them-
we're going to spend half the stream just making half puns.
Yeah, it might be, but I mean, half of him wants to dig, and then the other half is just crazy.
Should we also mention that I won't say they're half off, but subs are 25% off right now.
I will
It's
also
not quite half, but
I will
That's half
also
of a
jump
half.
on that. Welcome to September, by the way.
Yes.
No, that's literally a
perfect
thing. It's-
segue. You're
Yeah,
welcome.
that's what it's
That's
called.
awesome.
It's called
Oh,
September.
okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And then next, in like what, a week now? Is it a week or is it? Yeah, a week from today.
Pretty much a
We'll
week.
be on the last day of September, and then we'll be moving on to Spooktober. Wow. Alrighty. That being said, let's continue. Where were we? Okay, yeah, they're talking about the dead. I've heard his no. Okay,
From
so
the
I
dead.
got do it for the dead. Anyway, what are these illuminator things? They're a variety of magic stone. How do they work? They absorb light during the day, then release it like this one, like this once it's dark. Thy? What the frick am I doing? Shem, I need.
Yes.
I need your doctor support. Clearly,
damn it.
clearly, I have become frazzled by the half man, half other man that's over
Okay.
there. Yeah.
You see,
I just
Rudy,
realized
they
this.
work when a mommy stone and a daddy stone love each
Love
other
each other
very
very
much.
much.
Very
Mm.
much.
They make a
Okay,
they make a
real
bright
quick.
when a mommy stone and a daddy stone love each other very much. They make a bright and shiny Yui.
And it can
Oh.
shine
Richie,
about,
real quick,
or it can
because
light up about
I'm
half
sorry,
the
Moon.
space.
Real quick, I'm sorry because I just realized that Cody just reminded me of this. I also am the director of Data Bridged
Yes,
in the
you
first
are.
episode that came out
Yes,
last week.
Yes, you are.
I
There
totally
go.
forgot to.
What? And
Pitch
writer,
that.
aren't you?
Why do you not plug
Script
your
writer-
own content, my dude?
I forgot about it. I'm sorry. I was gonna, and then like the blip happened. It was like,
So you're like,
Uh-huh.
part
When
you're-
Thanos. Snap.
You're
director,
the-
writer, one of the voice
Voice
of
actor.
Tanamachi.
Yep. Yep.
well, you do a lot of different things for that. No wonder you're having to split your mind into so many places.
Yeah, no, it's I got to go in multiple directions. It's not easy all at the same time.
all at the same time. Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you split that work right down the middle, man.
No, yeah, everyone pays their fair share. We all do the work. Everyone does good work.
Everyone
Cody,
at
Fenrir,
Fat Dog
Cody,
pays
audio
their
editing,
fair
go-
share. You heard it here.
Yeah, exactly.
And we are once again asking for your financial support.
So yeah, guys, thanks for
Join our
coming to the
Patreon.
half pun stream.
The half pun. Well, we got half puns. They're half off.
Yeah.
We're only gonna get halfway through this whole
Fresh
the
from-
normal what
The
we
way,
normally are
the
gonna
way,
get through.
yeah, the
About
way I'm
halfway
being
through this
interrupted,
chapter,
it's
yeah,
not going to be
gotcha.
like last week when we just let somebody read. Nope.
Oh yeah.
No way.
Yeah, no freaking way.
It'd also be very fitting.
But hey, that's half the fun of the stream.
All
Hey, we got to split our time
Whoa.
somehow.
right, I'm going to get food while you guys keep doing these puns.
Let's get the
Yeah,
all right. Let's get the
food.
half puns out of our system.
Okay.
Oh,
Shem, what do you
God.
got? You got one? Half the spotlight's going on
Good,
you, buddy.
good response.
There's, I have a really big joke. I might have to split it up just so I can make it easier to tell. Oh my god.
Why don't we ever make any about just park, like going to a park or something?
Because no one laughs.
That's only
at
half
park.
the jokes we
Everyone
got
laughs.
here.
I saw it too late. Oh my gosh. Of course, I guess he did too.
Mhm.
Damn it! You know what I'm really in the mood for now? I'm kind of hungry, but I want a banana split. Is that too easy?
Oh, like ice cream? Oh, I get it.
Yeah, a banana split.
Uh,
Oh.
you good?
What else we got? We
I'm
just
just
gotta
trying
make this
to-
all half like split, like cutting puns.
Oh my gosh.
Puns fresh
Man,
from the
it
oven.
feels like Richie's been gone for about half an hour.
Mm.
I hope he
Feels
didn't
like it.
decide to just split and leave us.
Yeah. That was a good one.
You just
Oh.
cut and run.
Whew.
He left the entire stream divided.
I think I'm
Amongst
laughing too much.
ourselves.
I'm starting to get a splitting headache.
Yeah. Just for a split second, or
All right, guys. I think we need to cut the crap.
Yeah, we. All right, I think we're getting to the point where we're just splitting hairs here. Come on.
yeah. Yeah.
Oh man.
Well, keep going. I have a sandwich with me. I'm okay now.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I was
okay.
gonna say he has returned.
How do you like your sandwiches? I usually like to cut them down the middle.
Yeah, I actually cut them at an angle.
This is a very interesting segment.
Mhm.
Oh, hey, you know what? Say what you will about
That
this
one took me a
segment.
second. That one took me a
You
second.
You know what? Say what you will about the segment. It's very wholesome, though.
Wholesome. Really.
When you put
Oh.
the two halves together like that.
Mm.
You'd be amazed what you can find.
Mm.
Streams really are cut above the rest.
Oh, truly.
Oh man.
We're gonna be all right, right?
Well,
Well,
on the one
if
side,
there's anything left.
Oh my lord.
on the one hand, a PB&J sandwich. On the other hand,
Is it good?
wine.
What kind of jam, my man?
Just some basic jelly, dude. Grape.
I like what
Grape
apple
jelly.
Mm-hmm.
That reminds me of a song, though. I can only remember about half of it.
It's peanut butter.
Which half?
Something
The
time.
the left or the right half?
I think it was
Oh.
like the
Or is it the top or the
first
bottom?
half.
Mm.
Who doesn't
You know,
like
that
the
actually-
bottom?
I don't
I
know
need
who
to look
tops-
this up. How, like, what side of the brain is memory stored on? Supposedly.
memory.
'Cause I thought that was actually a thing where it's like, oh, this is where you're like, oh, the neurons go off when you're trying to remember something.
It's the
Is responsible
amygdala?
for
Let me see.
memory. The hippocampus.
Oh no, the amygdala is for fear and social stimuli emotions.
Oh my god, guys!
What?
Hippos are responsible for memories.
Hippocampus.
Dude,
Yes.
you're forgetting an entire half of the word.
Potamus?
Yeah, campus.
There's a whole campus full of
I
hippos.
want to get high on pot noose.
No,
Oh wait, wrong show.
just come here. Yeah, just fine. Just come here. We got loads of salad.
Deep in the brain,
Here.
hidden in the metal.
Thalamus,
I don't
prefrontal
think we have a brain
cortex,
anymore
anterior
between the three of us.
thalamus.
Four of us.
Nah.
The
When we-
hippopotamus.
Hidden in within the temporal lobe. Okay, that doesn't tell me
Past
where.
the
On a
vaulted
mid.
doors where impossible things may happen.
No, it needs to be
Dexter's
left for the void.
laboratory. In Dexter's lab.
Somebody got
It was the voice. You had the right pitch, and I was like, I know what that is.
Yeah, you
I
listened to that
wanted a
forever.
hippopotamus for
Yeah.
Christmas.
Past the vaulted
And
doors
all
where
the
impossible things may
hippopotamus will
happen.
do.
Yeah,
Oh shit.
he's the smartest
Oh.
boy you've ever seen. But Dee blows experiments to smithereens. Yeah.
In Dexter's lab.
Oh, that's where that's
I love
from.
that cartoon.
I haven't heard
They
that
came
song
out
in
recently
forever.
with the. Well, it's like the ending theme.
laboratory.
Most of the time, they just go the what was it? They only play like a little bit of the theme, and then they do like the next show. But
Mhm.
like sometimes they play the full thing. But yeah, that's the whole thing.
By the way, guys, coming up soon, we're gonna be jumping back into Helldivers 2 because
Yes.
things have improved. So yeah.
There's a lot of napalm stuff now. My friends are showing me some of that.
Yes, the
Apparently,
beatings are
it is
finally
now-
over. Morale has improved.
Yeah. Well,
Good.
here's the thing. The it is apparently now possible, though it's extremely difficult and highly unlikely, but it is possible for 4 people using flamethrowers to kill a Bile Titan.
That's awesome. Just burn it to death. Just
I didn't say you do it well, but you can do it. It is possible. All things are possible. All right.
Yes.
I think it's.
Are
out
you
of
guys
us.
done? All right, cool. Can I read now? Please?
Yeah, I think we cut all through all of them. So go ahead.
Damn it!
That was the last one.
Sonic, I'm of half a mind right now.
Sonic, I
just cutting
swear
in
to
line.
God, Sonic, I swear to God, dude. If I could just fucking lock you in an anime genre, it would be slice of life.
That one was a cut above the rest.
God damn it.
It probably probably do pretty good too. You know, I'm up
I-
there.
you know
I'd be
what?
up there with
I'm-
like Kaguya, Love is War, and whatnot.
I would 100%. That's a rom-com, my dude.
Oh, oops.
Anyway.
I mean, I
oh,
guess
wait,
some
that's
episodes
not-
are
never mind.
slice of life, but yeah, it's mostly rom com.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
mostly
no, okay.
rom-com, and they use guns
Fair
more
enough.
than anything.
I'm okay with that.
I mean, Nichijou also has guns.
A ton of
Yeah.
guns. I was
Guys?
just thinking about that too.
Yeah.
Guys, I severely underestimated this because I just remembered the hour we spent doing food puns that one time. So,
Yeah.
It was a
All right,
lot.
so here's the deal. Everybody shut up and let me read.
Now we're talking about
Sure.
yesterday on the chat, the scripting rumor yesterday too.
My guy, did you not hear me say shut up and let me read?
Sonic,
Please.
just be quiet.
My guy. All right.
Man. Oh, man.
It's a
Don't make me
slight-
do anything that would make Captain America say language. Okay.
language.
Oh Lord.
You've cussed
Yeah.
on stream.
The
Pulls
fuck
up
are
a
you
chair.
talking about?
Well, you know, like
I'm
his instructional
going to
things when he
commit
just sits down. He's like,
various
"So
war crimes.
you got banned on
I'm
Twitch."
going to commit various
War
heinous
crimes.
war crimes. No, I'm
No,
going to
I-
commit various unforgivable war crimes. Go, my
Oh.
army of child soldiers. God damn.
Right.
Hey.
Oh
Anyway.
God.
See what you've
So we're
done?
hearing for the
See what
battlefield.
you've done, Moon?
Yes. And I'm
Let me
happy.
read. Shut up and let
I
me
left.
read. Shut up and let me read.
You know you could mute us.
Shut up and let me. You know what? You're right. You're right. Unfortunately.
Oh, now you done
unfortunately,
it. Now
though,
you said it.
Unfortunately, if I can mute you for the stream, but I'd still hear you. That's the problem.
True.
There'd
But
be
if I mute-
voices in your head.
Okay, you know what? I did find the solution to this. All right, so hi guys, it's just me. You can't hear them. I deafened them. So that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and start reading. You guys okay with that? I'm okay with that. I hope you are too. It's a good time. But what about here? Oh, go ahead and try say something to me. Talk as if you were not at all bothered. Oh, what's that? When I deafen, your audio from Discord isn't being picked up? Aw. Yeah, I know. I know you can't hear me reading. That's the fun part. That's the absolute fun part. Now you guys are going to have to sit there and watch the stream. So I get 3 more views. Isn't that beautiful? The only problem is, the only downside to this plan is that it punishes Shim, and he didn't do anything. Shim is innocent in this. So that is the only reason. That is the only reason
We were all waiting
why I
with
have to
anticipation.
bring you back.
I was like, all right, I'm gonna just find all my emoticons and just like, all right, how many of these could I get away with?
All right, yeah, keep posting them. We appreciate the reactions. You know,
Ooh.
the interaction in chat is beautiful. All right, so are you guys gonna shut up so I can read, please?
I'll try.
Dude, it's almost 9 o'clock now, and I have read 2 pages.
Hooray.
I'm surprised we made it that far.
If I have to, I will turn this light novel reading around. And what that means is I'm just going to
Does
hand
that
it to
mean we read in
Shim.
reverse?
No, it means I'm going to hand it to Shim and no one's allowed to talk.
Oh.
Actually, you know what? I can actually solve this problem. I don't actually have to deafen. Let's see. Since I run this channel, mute Moon, mute Sonic. There we go. But y'all can still hear me. Look at that. Isn't that nice? And Shim doesn't have to be punished. No, wait. I actually muted. All right, hold on. Let me fix that.
Did you mute me?
I did on accident. Yeah.
Whoops.
I thought it was Sonic. The problem is that I have 2 people who have S at the beginning of their name, and when I have streamer mode enabled, yeah, it's great. It's great. All right, so now we get this, and when it's time for Sonic to read, I will allow him to speak. That being said, it's so mean. I don't feel like this is the right way to do this. God damn it. Why do I have
You
to
know
have a
it
conscience
is.
on these things?
Search your feelings. You know it to be true.
Okay, I'm back to muting you guys. Good. Thank you for
See?
making me feel good about my choices in life. All right. So, back to it. Let's get back to it. They absorb light during the day, then release it like this once it's dark. They shine for less than half as long as the daylight hours, though. So they were basically solar-powered lights? I didn't see anything like those back in Asura. It was surprising then, or it was surprising they weren't in broader usage, considering how convenient they sounded. So why don't people use these all over the place? Mainly it's because the stones themselves are rather rare. Huh? Looks like they got a ton of them here, though. It had to take a huge number of those things to light up an entire city like this. The Great Demon Empress apparently had them brought here at the height of her power. You see that over there? Regard pointed to the broken fortress at the center of the city, shining faintly in the light of the stones. It was also her castle would glow beautifully in the night. Wow, that seems a little excessive. An image of the demon empress popped unbidden into my mind. It was Eris in a dominatrix outfit shrieking, "Oh, God. More light! I need more light so that the world may know my beauty!" Doesn't anybody try to steal them or anything? I've heard it's forbidden, but I don't know the details. Right. This is Regard's first time in Rikarisu, too, after all. The stones seem to be positioned fairly high up in the crater's walls, so maybe it was tricky to get them unless you could fly. At the time, the project was widely condemned as a selfish waste, but I suppose it's proven useful in the end. Maybe the Empress actually did it for the good of her citizens. That I highly doubt. The woman was infamous for her decadence and self-indulgence. Oh, I like the sound of those words. If this lady's still alive somewhere, I'd love to meet her. We're definitely talking about a sexy succubus type here. Hey, sometimes truth's stranger than fiction, right? Is that some sort of human proverb? Yep. Think about it, though. The Spurred don't have a great reputation either, but they're actually kind-hearted people, aren't they? Regard patted my head affectionately. I wasn't sure how I felt about being patted like this at my age, but let's think this over, shall we? Yes, I was basically in my mid-40s mentally speaking, but this guy was in his 560s. Just chop off a digit, and it's too hard to wrap your head around that. Now we've got the equivalent of a 4-year-old being patted by a 56-year-old. That's nice and heartwarming, right? Hey, Rudius, why don't we go check that place out? Eris said, pointing at the ruined jet-black castle looming ominously against the night sky. Not tonight, Eris, I said. Let's find an inn. Oh, come on! We can just take a little look around. Well, now I'd gotten her pouting. It was charming enough that I was tempted to indulge her, but based on what Regard said earlier, this light wasn't going to last forever. The last thing we needed was to find ourselves plunged into total darkness just as we reached the castle. I've been feeling kind of worn out lately, Eris. I'd rather head to an inn. Huh? Are you all right? I wasn't lying. It probably had something to do with the fact that I wasn't used to traveling. But I'd been feeling kind of sluggish for the last few days. I could still move just fine and battle, so it hadn't been a major issue yet. Still, I did seem to be getting tired more quickly than usual. Maybe the stress was getting to me. I'm fine, Eris. It's nothing too serious. Really? Well, all right then. I guess I'll have to be patient. Now that was a phrase I never would have expected to hear from Miss Eris Boreas Greyrat. The girl really had come a long way in the last few years, hadn't she? We settled on a place called the Wolfclaw Inn. It had a total of 12 rooms, and the rate was 5 stone coins per night. The building itself had seen better days, but they openly welcomed beginner adventurers, and the price was definitely fair. For an extra stone coin, they provided morning and evening meals, and if you were an adventuring party with more than 2 people staying in a single room, they waived that fee altogether. As part of that newbie-friendly strategy, the rate stayed the same no matter how many beds you used. Their front lobby also doubled as a little tavern, with a handful of tables and a few counter seats as well. When we walked in, one of the tables was occupied by a group of 3 young adventurers, which didn't strike me as surprising. The word young was relative here, of course, but they were probably older than I was, maybe about Eris's age. All of them were boys, and all of them were staring at us without making any attempt to hide it. What should we do? Said Regard, shooting me a glance. He was asking if we were going to put on another show. Let's not, I replied after a moment's thought. This is where we're sleeping, right? I'd rather be able to relax here. There was no telling how many nights we'd actually be spending in this particular inn, but these boys were still children by Regard standards. If we stayed under the same roof for long, they'd naturally come to learn that he was a good-hearted guy. We're a party of 3. We'll be here 3 days at least. Yeah, fine. You want the meals or no? The innkeeper here didn't seem to be the friendliest. Yeah, meals too, please. I handed over enough coins to cover our first 3 days up front. The free food thing was definitely a nice bonus. This left us with 1 iron coin, 3 scrap iron coins, and 2 stone coins. The equivalent of 132 stone coins in total. Hey, are you a rookie adventurer too? I was listening to the innkeeper explain the rules and such. Oh, I'm sorry. As I was listening. There we go. That's the important part. As I was listening to the adventurer, frick, where did my mind go? Oh no, I'm losing it. No. My mind is in 2 separate places like Sonic. Oh no. As I was listening to the innkeeper explain the rules and such, one of the newbies wandered over and spoke to Eris. He was a kid with white hair and a horn sticking out of his forehead. You could probably have classified him as a pretty boy if you were feeling generous. The other 2 weren't bad either, I guess. One of them was a sturdy-looking, muscular guy with 4 arms, and the other had a beak for a mouth and feathers where his hair should be. They were all relatively handsome, although in different ways. If Hornhead was a normal type pretty mon, Four Arms was a fighting type, and Beak Boy was a flying type. Oh my god. Yeah, well, we're talking Pokemon now in terms of like, yeah. Okay. But we're pretty new to this ourselves, actually. Want to come eat with us, maybe? Oh, wow, he's actually hitting on her. This little punk was pretty damn precocious, huh? Too bad his voice was trembling. It was kind of adorable in a way. We can probably give you some advice on picking jobs and stuff, you know? Eris only response to the boy's offer was to turn her face away. Way to go, girl. Give that little flirt the cold shoulder. Well, not like she can even understand what he's saying. Come on, just for a bit. Your little brother over there can come too. Just as I felt like I should intervene, Eris abruptly glanced across the room and began walking away from the boy. I recognized the technique, of course. It was something she'd learned in Edna's etiquette class, a basic move from the art of avoiding annoying aristocrats. Now then, how was this kid going to play this? At this point, a gentleman would get the message and back down gracefully. Hey, don't ignore me! Hornhead was evidently not a gentleman. Clearly irritated, he reached out and grabbed the bottom of Eris's hood. The kid yanked Eris backward, but she had enough lower body strength to keep her balance. As you might expect from an adventurer, he seemed to be relatively strong himself. Their front lobby also I accidentally pressed the wrong button, so I went back. Unfortunately, there was a cheap piece of cloth caught up in the middle of this power struggle. With an ugly ripping sound, Eris's hood gave way. Huh? Eris looked down at the damage. There were tiny tears all along the hood's bottom edge where the seams had pulled apart. I think I actually heard her snap. The hell do you think you're doing? A shrill cry, loud enough to shake the inn to its rafters, served as the starting bell. Twirling around, Eris fired off a Boreas punch. This was a turning blow she'd learned from Soros and perfected in the course of her training with Ghislaine. The poor kid never saw it coming. Her fist caught him square in the face, and his head jerked back so far that it almost looked like she'd broken his neck. The kid fell, spinning backward, hit the back of his head against the floor, and was instantly unconscious. I was a total amateur, but even I could tell that blow had some serious power behind it. You could almost hear the world's strongest death row convict muttering, "What a punch." Kinda serves you right for being so pushy, man. Hopefully the kid had learned his lesson and would never again do anything so foolhardy as speaking to Eris. Sometimes education can be a painful process. Anyway, his 2 friends were presumably going to come charging in at this point. I probably needed to step in. Who do you think you are, anyway? You've got some nerve touching me! But to my surprise, Eris wasn't done. This time, she unleashed the Boreas kick, another highly sophisticated technique she'd learned from Soros and perfected under Ghislaine. Her foot smacked into the solar plexus of her second victim. Oh, my lord. Oh, my lord. And ladies and gentlemen, here it is. Here comes Eris Boreas Grey Rat with a steel chair. Oh, no! By the way, you chuckleheads can talk so long as you're not constantly interrupting me.
I'd imagine just insert like the cheers and oh from the crowd, whatever. As she does that.
It's Eris Boreas Grey Rat with a steel chair.
Oh!
Ah! Oh my God! And who's that behind her? Is that Bernie Sanders?
Asking for our financial support.
Harry, I've come to ask
Ding,
you for your
ding.
financial support.
The chair is called financial support.
She tags him in.
Oh no, it's Bernie Sanders with his financial support. Oh no! All right. Forearms moaned in agony and sank to his knees. Eris promptly drove her knee into his chin, sending him flying backward. Huh? What? Huh? It didn't seem like Beak Boy had fully processed what was happening, but as Eris rushed toward him, he reached reflexively for the sword at his hip. That seemed a little overboard, so I quickly tried intervening with magic. As it turned out, though, Eris was the only one really going overboard here. Before Beak Boy could even draw his weapon, she smacked her fist viciously into his chin. I'd never seen a bird's eyes roll back into its head before, but apparently there was a first time for everything. In mere seconds, Eris had totally immobilized all three of her opponents. She stalked back to where Hornhead lay unconscious and kicked his head like a soccer ball. The first blow jolted the boy awake, but he couldn't do anything except curl up in the fetal position. Eris proceeded to kick him over and over again. That was the first piece of clothing Rudius ever bought me. Oh my, Miss Eris, do I really mean that much to you? It was just a cheap little thing to cover up that hair of yours, you know. Goodness, you're going to make this old man blush. Eris kicked the boy over and over onto his back and reached down to grab one of his legs. Her face was twisted with rage. You'll regret this until the day you die. I'm going to stomp that thing into mush. What thing was she referring to, you might wonder? I was too afraid to ask. Hornhead didn't know what she was saying, of course, but he seemed to understand what she intended to do. He started yelping apologies, begging for help, and trying desperately to squirm away, but his words were meaningless to Eris, and they wouldn't have made a difference either way. Eris always finished what she started. The girl was nothing if not thorough. This kid was about to meet with the same fate I might have suffered 3 years earlier had I failed to escape her wrath. Stop it, Eris! At this point, I finally managed to step in and intervene. Everything had happened so quickly that I'd been too startled to react immediately. Down, girl! Down! Calm yourself! What's your problem, Rudius? Why are you stopping me? I grabbed Eris from behind, but she was still thrashing around in my arms, trying to bring her foot down on the boy. What part of the boy specifically, one might ask? The answer was too horrible to contemplate. We can just repair the hood. I'll sew it up for you, okay? So cut the guy a break. You're going way too far here. Whatever. Unfortunately, my desperate pleas got through to Eris in the end. She stopped fighting and stomped back over to Regard with her face full of fury. Regard, incidentally, had been sitting in a chair at the counter and watching all this unfold with a small smile on his face. Regard, come on, don't just sit there next time this happens. It was only a children's fight, wasn't it? Yeah, but the grown-ups are supposed to stop these, especially when it's such a total mismatch. Are you all right? Yeah, I'm fine. Feeling a bit sympathetic despite myself, I cast healing on the battered boy and helped him onto his feet. Sorry about that. She can't speak, Demon God. That scared the heck out of me. Well, why'd she get so mad anyway? Well, she doesn't like being pestered, and I think that hood is pretty important to her. Right. Would you mind telling her I'm sorry? I glanced over at Eris. She'd taken off her hood and was staring at the huge tear in it while grinding her teeth furiously. She was definitely in her never forgive, never forget mode right now. I hadn't seen her like this since the first day we met. I half expected to see little cartoon clouds of smoke coming from her ears. Sorry, but if I spoke to her right now, I think she'd punch me too. Wow, she's cute, but kind of scary. Huh. Honestly, I thought the girl had grown more civilized recently, but maybe it was only an act. Kind of depressing since I'd just been patting myself on the back about how far she'd come. Well, yeah, she's definitely cute, and that's why you probably shouldn't talk to her unless you have a good reason, okay? Right, sure. Also, if you ever feel the urge to try and get revenge for this, I'd advise against it. I stepped in today since the whole thing was just an accident, but next time, you might actually die. Not exactly subtle, but I wanted to make sure he knew where we stood. The boy's eyes widened and he rubbed his nose, then checked the back of his head for lumps. After a few moments, he seemed to calm down. My name's Kurt. What's yours? I'm Rudius Greyrat. Oh, and she's Eris. At this point, the two others, who Eris had punished for their friend's misdeeds, came up to introduce themselves as well. The forearm muscle man was Bachiro, and the beak boy's real name was Gablin. He's a Gablin! Anyway,
Anyway.
I couldn't help it. Did somebody say Gablin? Anyway, once we finished exchanging our names, these two took up positions on either side of Kurt, and the little group struck up a dramatic pose. Together, we are the Tokurabu Village Toughs. Were these kids trying to pull off an Athena exclamation, or what? Talk about lame. And you're calling yourself Toughs? Seriously? What are you, a biker gang from 50 years ago or something? In fact, is this Tokurabu place even on the maps? We're on track to hit D rank soon. Or rank D. Same thing. We were thinking it was about time we found a girl magician to round out our party, you know? That's why we came over. A girl magician? That didn't make much sense. I was the only magician in our party. It's not like Eris is wearing a wizard robe or anything. Oh, wait a second. Did you assume Eris was a magician because of the hood she had on? Well, yeah, only spellcasters wear stuff like that, yeah? She's carrying a sword, you know. Huh? Oh, wow, you're right! Apparently Kurt hadn't even noticed. He seemed like the type who only saw the things he wanted to see. Hey, I know exactly that type. But you're a magician, right? I mean, you can use healing spells and everything. That's pretty awesome. Yeah, spells are basically what I do. Hey, why don't you both join up with us then? Wait, you think we're going to join your gang? Seriously? Didn't you learn anything from that little episode earlier? Just so you know, if I joined up, that guy over there would be coming too. I pointed over at Regerd, who was busy lecturing Eris about something or other. She looked a bit sulky, but was nodding at his words. Huh? That guy's in your party too? Oh, obviously. His name's Regerd. Regerd? What's your party called anyway? Dead End. The boys stared at me with undisguised bewilderment. They were obviously wondering what the hell we were thinking. Is it really a good idea to use a name like that? Well, we got approval from the man himself. Sure. Yeah, I know it sounds like a joke, but I'm actually telling the literal truth here. It's just a name, right? Point is, Eris and I are already taken, so we can't join up with you guys. It was hard to imagine we'd get anything out of teaming up with these kids anyway. We weren't here to run around playing make-believe. Oh, yeah? Guess that's your loss, then. We're gonna make a big splash in this town, you know? Don't come begging us to let you in the party once we're famous. Is he for real? Well, nothing wrong with a bunch of fresh-faced youngsters heading to the big city with their heads full of dreams, right? Those grizzled veterans back at the Adventurers Guild probably welcomed kids with warm, indulgent smiles. You talk awfully big for someone who just got his butt handed to him by a kid. Hey, she just caught me off guard, man. You gonna trot out that excuse when some monster ambushes you in the wilderness too? Gah! Yeah, I think I won that one. Feels good, man. Hard to argue with the mental image of a Pax coyote ripping out your throat, right? I left the Tokurabu Village Toughs to nurse their bruised egos. Okay, that took a while longer than I thought it would. Oh, that was 13 pages. That did not feel like it.
Oh,
No,
really?
You shredded through it pretty good, so.
Oh, did I? Okay. I didn't think...
Yeah.
I thought I was doing poorly.
No.
You're doing fine.
Okay. After dinner, we headed up to our room where 3 fur beds awaited us. Whew! Sighing softly, I took a seat on mine. Today really had been exhausting. I wasn't in the best condition to start with, and we'd met so many people, heard a ton of laughter, and endured so much mockery. Even when you're consciously playing a part, that stuff takes a toll on you. Eris was gazing out our window at the city, which was growing darker by the minute. That ruined castle was pretty captivating, sure, but you'd think the girl was a tourist or something. We had all sorts of things to worry about right now, didn't we? Did she expect me to deal with everything all by myself or what? Yes! Yes, she does! You have proven yourself beyond capable. The amount of trust she has in you, my dude.
Yeah.
Okay, no, I needed to stop being so negative. Eris trusted me. That's why she wasn't overthinking things right now. It wasn't as if she was being a spoiled brat or anything. No, if only she'd stop getting into pointless fights. I fell back onto my bed, looked up at the ceiling, and thought about what came next. First and foremost, we needed money. This room was costing us 15 stone coins a night for the three of us. We needed to earn at least that much per day at a bare minimum. But based on what I'd seen earlier, F-rank jobs paid out about 5 stone coins, and even E-rank jobs were only worth 1 scrap iron coin or so. So as a solo adventurer, you could probably just tackle 1 F-rank job per day to cover the cost of your lodgings. Then start saving some cash once you ranked up into more lucrative work. F and E rank tasks were mainly odd jobs around the city, but at D rank you started getting more requests to gather materials and such. Basically, the system was set up so that you could save up some money doing easy work, then buy some equipment to tackle more dangerous jobs. It was well thought out, but there were 3 of us. Including the cost of lunch and everyday goods, we'd probably looking at 20 stone coins a day on average. If we handle 1 task a day, we're probably looking at a net loss of 10 to 15 stone coins, and we've got 132 left at this point. We'd be flat broke in under 2 weeks. There wasn't much of a cushion at all. We needed to be completing 3 or more jobs per day to stay out of the red. If we could split up, it'd probably be possible to pull in more than 20 stone coins doing simple jobs. But if we left Regard by himself, there was a risk his real identity would be exposed. And Eris couldn't even speak the local language, so she'd have a hard time on her own. She had a short temper, too. She might end up getting into fights with her clients. More importantly, we couldn't spread the word about Regard unless we worked as a group. Once we ranked up, money would be much less of an issue. Monster slaying tasks were right up Regard and Eris's alley. Once we could take those, we'd be sitting pretty in no time. That said, jobs of that sort were all rank C or higher. Basically, if we managed to hit rank D within the next 2 weeks or so, everything would probably be okay. That wasn't going to be possible if we only took on 1 task a day, though. I'd forgotten to ask how many completed jobs it took before you could rank up, but at the very least, the guild clearly didn't let you mop up the ladder just because you were a powerful fighter. They expected everyone to work their way forward, step by plotting step. It didn't help that I wasn't in the best condition right now. This probably wasn't anything serious, but there was a chance Eris or I might come down with some illness I couldn't cure with basic detoxification spells. Also, it was hard to know how much we'd need to spend on irregular purchases. We'd have to keep buying hair dye for Regard periodically, for one thing, and then there were our clothes. We couldn't keep wearing the same ones forever. Our outfits were made of durable, high-quality materials, and they didn't take too long to clean when I used magic to dry them. But doing it that way was bad for the fabric, and they'd eventually get ripped and torn. The earlier we could get some extra sets, the better. Soap would be really nice, too. Eris and I had just been wiping ourselves off with a rag soaked in hot water for a while. There were probably all sorts of other basic supplies we'd realize we needed, too. Money was going to be an issue. Oh, right. Maybe we could take out a loan or something? There had to be at least a couple money lenders somewhere in this city, right? No, we probably didn't want to get into debt if we could help it. Not until we had a clear way to pay it off, at least. I guess I could always sell Aqua Hartia, but that was going to be my last resort. I didn't want to lose the first birthday present Eris had ever given me. Wow, look at me anguishing over the family budget. Never thought the day would come. As I recalled in my previous incarnation, I'd been known to ward off my parents' attempts at discussing money matters by pounding my fists on the floor like an overgrown toddler. Talk about a nauseating memory. I'd have to make an effort to forget about that one. I also found myself remembering the look on Paul's face when I asked him to pay for both Sylvie and me to attend school together. Also somewhat embarrassing in retrospect. I really had been a bit too casual about money in the past. All right, this isn't the time to be learning valuable life lessons. Let's focus, please. What was the most efficient way for us to earn money? Should we try to complete as many jobs per day as possible? It might be easier to just head out into the plains and hunt monsters for their raw materials, honestly. I didn't have to get too fixated on the adventuring thing. But if we went that route, we wouldn't have many chances to build up Dead End's reputation around the city. Moving up the ladder as adventurers would be the better way to do that. Hitting a high rank would make things easier going forward, and we'd probably get a better price for raw materials going through the guild, too. Could we get ourselves established before our money ran out, though? Maybe it'd be smarter to put helping Regerd out on hold until our situation was relatively stable. Damn, I'm just going in circles at this point. I couldn't find a clear-cut answer here. Making money and improving Regerd's reputation at the same time wasn't going to be easy. Hopefully I can figure something out. Nothing came to mind before I fell asleep, though. I was dreaming. In my dream, I found myself in a pure white void. I could sense I'd reverted into a duller, more pathetic version of myself. Not this again. A vaguely obscene-looking little jerk appeared before my eyes. What is it this time? I asked. Can we wrap this up as quickly as possible, please? You're as hostile as ever, I see. My advice about relying on Regerd worked out for you, didn't it? He got you to the nearest city safe and sound. Yeah, I guess, but knowing Regerd, he probably would have tagged along and protected us from a distance, even if we ran away from him. Goodness, it certainly sounds like you don't trust him. Why are you still so suspicious of me, then? You seriously don't know the answer to that question? Did you forget the part where you called yourself a god? Oh, well, I suppose it doesn't really matter. I've got some more advice for you, Rudius. Fine. Would you please just get it over with? I hate the sound of your voice, and I hate being here, too. I hate feeling like the time I spent as Rudius was just a dream. I hate feeling like I've gone right back to being some useless, pathetic loser. If you're going to make me hear you out, I wish you'd at least say your piece up front. Somebody's awfully submissive today. I'm just going to end up in the palm of your hand no matter what, right? Don't be silly, Rudius. All your choices are entirely your own. Can you stop prattling on and get to the point? Oh, all right. Listen carefully, young Rudius. Take on that task to find the lost pet, and you'll find yourself with much less to worry about. With the man-god's final words echoing in my ears, I felt myself slip back into unconsciousness. When I woke up, it was still the middle of the night. Talk about a bad dream. I'd had about enough of these divine messages, to be honest. The timing here was incredibly suspicious. Pixelface had picked up the perfect moment. Dude, that was a hard set. Pixelface had picked up the perfect moment. Peter Piper picked
Yeah.
a pickle pecker.
Gotta love that alliteration.
Yeah.
Saying
Yes.
that line 3 times fast.
Yeah, Pixelface had picked up a perfect moment. Pixelface had picked up the perfect moment. Why am I adding up? I just need more P's, apparently. Pixelface had picked the perfect moment. Pixelface had picked the perfect moment. Yeah, see, can't do it. Pixelface had picked the perfect moment to take advantage of my uncertainty. Classic evil god stuff, really. We totally had a Mokos on our hands here. I don't know what that means, Mokos. So that flew over my radar.
It's probably like a RPG character or something.
I'm sure it's an acronym for something, but I don't know it.
I mean, they just reference Final Fantasy 3 like directly in this at some point, so I assume it's like an RPG.
Gotcha. Sighing softly,
Yeah.
I looked over to my left. Regerd was asleep. For some reason, he'd opted to lean against the far wall with his arms around his spear rather than occupying his bed. I looked to my right and realized Eris was awake as well. She was sitting on her bed, hugging her knees, staring out at the darkness. I rose quietly, walked over, and sat down at her side. She looked out the window with her I looked out the window with her. The moon was out. This world only had one, too. Can't sleep, huh? Yeah, Eris replied after a momentary pause. She hadn't taken her eyes off the window. Hey, Rudius? Yes? Do you think we'll make it home? All of a sudden, her voice was painfully anxious. Oh. I was ashamed of my own cluelessness. I thought Eris was her usual self. I thought she wasn't even nervous. I thought she was simply enjoying the situation, our adventure. But that wasn't true at all. She was afraid, too. She'd just been hiding it from me. The stress must have been building up inside her for days now. No wonder she'd gotten into that stupid fight earlier. That should have tipped me off right away, if I weren't a total moron. I mean, that's the most honest Rudius has ever been about himself. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I gently wrapped an arm around Eris's shoulder, and she promptly put her head against my shoulder.
Okay, I found what Mokos is from. You just kind of got to read the article. It's on a Know Your Meme.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So I put the link in the thingy.
This is a cute little picture, by the way, right here.
Yeah.
Jesus, we're not even done with the chapter. 1, 2. Okay, thank God we've got just 2 pages, or like 1 and a smidge. She hadn't taken a proper bath in days, so the faint scent wafting from her hair was new to me. It wasn't unpleasant, though, not at all, which was kind of a problem since my rambunctious little buddy began threatening to act up again. My guy, you're 10. Control your... Yeah, exactly, the next line. Control yourself, Rudius. Until we make it home, you're an oblivious protagonist. This wasn't like the Sylphie thing. There was a reason, however flimsy, that I needed to hold myself back. And in any case, only a scumbag would take advantage of a girl who was feeling this anxious and vulnerable. Rudius, you really will figure something out, right? Don't worry. I'll get us back home, no matter what it takes. Oh man, this little lady's too cute when she gets all meek. No wonder Soros spoiled her rotten. I wonder what happened to the old man anyway. That flash of light covered the entire Fatoa region, so I guess... Nah, let's not think about it right now. I've got my hands full with my own problems. Okay, that moment right there is both a smart and a stupid decision. Like, focusing on the now is very smart, but don't just blow off the what-ifs there, because those were important.
Mm-hmm. Because what if he loses his head?
Let's just focus on doing what we can for now, okay? You should get some sleep too, Eris. Tomorrow's going to be another busy day. I patted Eris on the head, got up, and headed back to my own bed. Just as I reached it, my eyes met Reedger's. He'd heard our conversation, apparently. That was somewhat embarrassing. After a moment, though, he just closed his eyes without a word. Man, what a good guy. Paul probably would have started mercilessly teasing me on the spot. Reedger really was a sweetheart. It'd just be plain wrong to put his problems on the back burner. Speaking of Paul, though, I wonder if he's worried about me or anything. I really ought to send a letter telling him that I was alive and well, although it was hard to know if it'd actually reach him from way out here. Anyway, tomorrow we're hunting someone's pet, I guess. The man god's motives were still unclear to me, but for this one time, I was willing to follow his advice without giving it too much thought. Our first night as adventurers came to a quiet end, with the air in our little room still thick with anxiety. Finally, we reached Chapter 9! We can
Pray.
file for bankruptcy!
I didn't think we were doing that poorly.
Oh, man. Did you not hear Rudius talking about our financial woes? All right, speaking of, now that we've hit the end of this chapter, let's talk about it. Let's talk a bit about this versus the anime. Now, guys, I'm not going to lie. A lot of what was here was kind of glossed over. They did cover the very important things in this portion, but like the stress, the worries, and the anxiety of the characters didn't actually hit the anime.
Mm-hmm.
Like we
Yeah,
we
they
got
I
the
don't
man
think they really
we
talked
got the man
about
god
selling the staff
conversation.
beforehand.
Yeah.
Yep.
We literally got the man god conversation at the end, and like we did get the part where Eris beat the shit out of the Tokurabu toughs, but that was
Yeah.
it.
I like those guys.
Oh man, I liked them too.
Yeah, Yeah.
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 Knowing how it kind of sort of comes to an end for them is a little sad.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's like,
Anyhow. But there is also a difference in how things end in the anime versus the manga for Rikarizu City. So, but yeah, let me know your thoughts on this chapter. What did you guys think versus from the anime versus the manga here?
Well, things definitely went a lot faster in the anime, and that was partly because they skipped certain things. They
yeah, they
did
probably
still-
had to.
Yeah, they did still pick up a lot of the emotion and stuff later at like the points where it needed to hit harder. So
Mhm.
like it
It
also added a bit more credence to like, oh, you know, his father's getting pissed because it sounds like Rudy didn't think about him. And in many ways it seemed like he didn't, but also you have to sit there and be all like, he's kind of dealing with a lot even outside of that.
Well, not only that, he did not actually think that the teleportation event reached that far. He could like
Yeah.
he did not comprehend just how massive that thing was, and he couldn't have to begin with because he was literally at the epicenter. Ghislaine
Yeah.
was the first to hit it, and then Rudius and Eris were the second. It was it. Like he had no idea
Mhm.
how far that thing reached.
Hmm.
And because he's all the way in the demon continent, all the way this far back, and the word hasn't traveled that far, he has no idea. Like the first place he could have gotten any information about it was if he'd actually gone to the guild hall in I think it's Windport, which is in the Millis continent. That would have been the first time he'd known anything about it. So like a year of just doing your day-to-day, trying to get through, manage the finances, make sure that all the responsibilities that he has. Like that's why I'm also like I'm kind of on Paul's side, but I'm also kind of on Rudy's side because like they both have valid points. It's like, hey,
Yeah.
why didn't you spare a thought for us at all or about the situation? But also Rudy could have turned right around and been like, I didn't have time to think about your situation. Do you know the massive amount of responsibility I've been under and how fucking terrifying it's been? How I'm trying to keep this girl alive, make sure that this person is like looked upon kindly, like all this stuff. Like if he just like let loose on all the fucking crushing responsibility that he'd had, it wouldn't have needed to be a fight. Like Paul would have just like fucking caved in. Like right then, he would have dropped to his knees and just like Paul did not understand the weight of responsibility at that moment that Rudy put. And to be fair, a lot of this was on Rudy. He put that burden on himself. He just accepted that burden. But yeah, you can. I think this is where the light novel kind of exceeds in this area a bit more than the anime, because we do get a bit more of that internal thought process when it comes to Rudius, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I know we saw the fight animated, but there's something like much more visceral about how it was described in this version, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I mean, that's just me. All right. I'm actually going to have to call it for my portion of the reading. Shim, you're going to be taking over like the narration if we get to now Sonic, you will be doing voicing for the Adventurers Guild whenever we get to it. So it's not if we don't get to the Adventurers Guild this week, you'll be doing it next week. And then once you get your turn with the Adventurers Guild, that's when we move over. So when there's a large group of people for a scene that we need to voice through, we'll get there. So, and trust me, we've all seen a bunch of different Adventurers Guilds in the anime, so we're pretty good. Also,
Yeah.
Shim, I'm going to wait until the end to ask you about season 2 stuff. So
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. All right. So, Shim, if you don't mind taking over from chapter 9.
Okay.
Chapter 9, the first job, the value of a life. The Curib House. Hold on 1 sec.
Yeah, that's the other thing. We've got so many new terms because we're in a new location to learn and work with.
Yeah. The Kirib House, located on Rikurisu's Block 2, was a long single-story building with 4 separate entrances. Those who lived there were far from well off, but they weren't as desperately poor as those who dwelled in the city's slums. By the Demon Continent's standards, they were typical working-class people. 3 shadowy figures, 2 small, 1 large, were currently approaching this place. Strutting boldly across the street, they made their way to one of the building's multiple entrances, indifferent to the gazes of those around them. "Hello, miss. We've come from the Adventurers Guild." The young boy of the group knocked on the door, calling out in a high-pitched voice to the resident within. There was something unsettling about this. None of the adventurers in the city spoke that politely to anyone. They were a
Shem,
rough,
I'm sorry for
crude bunch.
interrupting,
Hmm.
but I
up?
absolutely want you to use that Rudius voice in something in the future. That's so good. I don't know
Oh.
why, but I
What?
like that so much. Excuse me, miss. I like
Yeah.
that. That's good.
Excuse me, miss.
Yeah,
We
it's a
come
good
from
one.
the Adventurers Guild.
We represent the Adventurers
Yeah,
Guild.
Nose wipe.
No,
He's got like the snot nose
no,
thing.
he's snot-nosed little brat. Anyway,
Hi,
Yeah.
miss. How are you doing today?
all right.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's like the little kid from Wind Waker with his snot nose.
Oh,
I
God.
clean your-
Yeah,
Can
that's
I
cute.
clean your chimney?
Can I clean your chimney? I don't know how to do
Potion
that. It's
seller?
not
I don't know why that voice made me think of that.
Yeah.
Potion seller.
I
There was
require your
something-
strongest potions
Oh.
for my nose,
so-
my
I'm not
my
the
only
days,
one
my
settling
my
on
I'm not
Sinuses.
the only
sinuses.
one that can imagine Rudius walking around at an event and go, butt scratcher, get your butt scratcher here.
Butt scratcher?
Gotcha.
Butt
Butt
scratcher.
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 Butt
Yeah.
Butt
scratcher.
scratcher.
Richie, no!
Mm,
There
butt
really was
scratcher.
something unsettling about
Butt
this.
scratcher.
Yeah.
Talking
Amazing
about the
timing.
Butt scratcher, or are you talking
Yeah.
about? Yeah.
I could use one of those. That seems nice.
Yeah, it keeps your
Uh,
fingers clean.
Yeah.
The cake baker.
I mean, you don't dig that deep, man.
Yeah. If you're sticking,
I
a
mean, itch
finger in
can
the
be
hole,
anywhere, you
got
never
more
know.
Issues.
That is true, but
Yeah,
Yeah,
hold it in
mm.
somehow.
yeah.
If you're itching on the inside, my guy, you need to see a doctor.
Yeah.
Or just
If it
invest in a
lasts longer
bidet.
than
You're
4
not wiping good
hours.
enough.
Oh, wait.
Or pull the gerbil out.
Yeah.
God.
Do what Eminem said. Shove a gerbil in your ass through it.
no,
too.
no, no.
We don't need Mr. Lillywinks to go. We don't need that.
Lily wings. All I thought about was tiddlywinks, and now I'm yeah, fucking hell.
Yeah.
All right,
Anyway.
Oh,
continuing
Tillywinks.
on.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Tiddlywinks. Oh my god.
None of the adventurers in this city spoke that politely to anyone. They were a rough, crude bunch by nature. Still, the gentleness of this boy's voice apparently deceived a resident of this room. Doors squeaked open, and a girl of perhaps 7 years emerged from within. Her long lizard-like tail and distinctive forked tongue marked her as a member of the Hoga race. Huga? I say Huga race. The girl's eyes went wide at the sight of her 3 unusual visitors, but the boy smiled cheerfully at her. "Hello there. Oh, this pleasure to meet you. This is Miss Measles' residence, correct?" Huh? Oh, pardon me. My name's Rudius, miss. Rudius of Dead End. Dead End? This girl, Maysel, was of course familiar with that name. Everyone knew the story of the monstrous spurred warriors who fought so fiercely during the Laplace War 400 years ago, slaughtering friend and foe alike, and everyone knew that Dead End was the strongest and most evil of their number. It was said that none of them who met him lived to tell the tale. Even those who had only glimpsed him from a distance said they'd only managed to barely escape with their lives. His name struck terror into the hearts of every resident of the Demon Continent. Even brawny adventurers who boasted that they could slay any monster single-handedly would just shudder just to hear him mentioned. But Maysel also knew what Dead End was said to look like, and the short, young boy didn't match that description in the slightest. "We took on your request to the guild this morning, miss. We're here to find your lost pet. We were hoping to ask you for the details, if you can spare the time." I'm also trying to kind of drive home that he's doing like a fake thing. So, but the name Dead End was terrifying in itself, and the other 2 people standing behind the boy were a little intimidating. But he spoke to her so politely that it was hard to stay afraid. And from the sound of things, they were adventurers who had actually taken on the job she posted. Please find me for us." "Ah, so your pet's name is Me? That's a very cute name, I must say." I came up with it myself." "Oh, really? Well, you've clearly got a knack for naming things, miss." This compliment earned the boy a bashful smile. Now then, do you think you could tell us a bit about me, maybe? Maisel described her pet's appearance, explained that it had disappeared 3 days ago, added that it hadn't come home, clarified that it usually came back when she called for it, and mentioned that it was probably hungry since she hadn't fed it. It was a rambling, childish monologue. A typical adult may have rolled their eyes at the girl's babbling and left halfway through, but the young adventurer listened to her with a smile, nodding encouragingly after every heartfelt sentence. Understood, miss. We'll go track me down right away. Rest assured, you're in good hands with Dead End. The boy closed his hand into a fist and struck his thumb into the air. For some reason, the other two behind him did the same. Maisel didn't quite understand, but she imitated them anyway. Nodding with pleasure, the boy turned around and began walking away. The hooded girl who had been standing behind him followed, but the taller man of the group squatted down in front of Maisel to pat her gently on the head. You have my word. We'll find your pet, Maisel. Be patient just a little longer. He had a big scar running across his face. There was a jewel on his forehead, and his hair was a strange, spotty blue. It was a little scary to look him in the face, but his hand was warm and gentle. Maisel nodded. Okay. I'll be waiting. Don't worry. Don't worry. We'll be back before you know it. As the taller man stood up to take his leave, Maisel called out to him. What's your name, mister? Weijerd, the man replied, then turned and walked off with the others. Blushing faintly, Maisel murmured that name to herself. Rudius. Our first meeting with the client. I hope that it was implied that she just a little lizard girl just murmurs Rudius to herself in the deepest voice possible.
Rudius. Oh, no.
Rudius.
But that's the funny thing. She was thinking about Regerd. Why would she say Rudius?
I know. I'm just kidding because it's the next word.
Look, they both start with R, so.
Yeah, like she stares directly in the camera and says Rudius to us. Like, oh shit.
Rudius. Oh no.
Our first meeting with the client had gone off very nicely all in all. I'd just been imitating a door-to-door salesman who'd frequently stop by my house in my previous life, but it seemed to work better than expected. It was fine for the other adventurers to laugh at us, but we need our clients to think of us and first and foremost as good people. It meant we needed to treat them kindly and politely. I see you're capable of playing more than one role, said Ruijerd as we strode away victorious. Quite impressive, Rudius. Right back at you, Ruijerd. Your bit at the end was just perfect. My bit at the end? What are you talking about? The part where you patted her on the head as you spoke to her, obviously. That had been a total ad-lib. I was sweating bullets there for a second, and the results have been very impressive. Oh, I see. What was so good about that? Maybe the part where she was gazing up at you with a big blush on her face? Come on, man. I would have been sorely tempted to kidnap her if I was in your shoes. It wasn't a good idea to come out and say that to someone who loved children as much as Regerd, though. He probably would have spent the next half hour sternly rebuking me. So instead I adopted a joking tone of voice and nudged him playfully in the thigh with my elbow. Heh, come on, boss. You had that chick wrapped around your little finger. Heh. Regerd smiled dubiously and denied this, his voice a bit uncertain.
Wow.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Yeah, don't be so modest, boss. If you pushed a little harder, the girl would have been putting her... Ah! I was rudely interrupted by a smack upside the head. I turned to find Eris pouting at me. Stop laughing like that. Wasn't that stupid boss stuff supposed to be an act? Apparently, she wasn't a big fan of my leering impression of a lowlife. Ever since the kidnapping, Eris had despised vulgar people. Back in Roa, she'd grimaced every time we passed someone dressed like a thug in the street. I was only kidding around with Regerd, but I guess she didn't find it too amusing. Sorry about that. Honestly, you're a member of the Grey Rat family, aren't you? Don't be so uncouth. It took an effort of will not to burst out laughing at that one. Did you hear that, ma'am? Eris just told me off for being uncouth. Yes, that Eris. The little lady who used to feel the need to open every door she found by kicking it. She's certainly grown more refined lately, don't you think? Still, if she wanted to say things like that to me, shouldn't she stop getting into barroom brawls with strangers first? Hard to say, really. Or hard to say, actually. Based on what I'd seen of Saros, maybe flipping out and punching someone in the face fell within the bounds of acceptable behavior? No, surely not. After giving it a moment's thought, I realized I had no earthly idea where uncouth stopped and couth began for Asuran nobles. Accordingly, I changed the subject. In any case, Regerd, do you think we can find this pet? Based on what we'd heard it from Maisel, me seemed to be a cat. It was black and had been Maisel's companion ever since she was very young. It was also likely on the larger side. Maisel had her arms stretched out wide to demonstrate its size. Assuming that wasn't an exaggeration, me had to be about as big as a full-grown Shiba Inu, which was pretty remarkable for a house pet or house cat. Of course, I gave the girl my word after all. With this promising, decisive declaration, Ruijerd strode forward, taking up the lead. He was moving with confidence, but I was still feeling a little nervous. I knew he had a powerful built-in radar for living things, but it couldn't be easy to track down one specific animal in a city that was full of them. Do you have a plan or something? Animals move in very predictable ways, Rudius. Look here. Peering at the ground where Ruijerd pointed, I could barely make out the outline of a small paw print. Talk about impressive. I never would have noticed that in a million years. So if we follow these tracks, you think we'll find it? No. These are likely from a different animal. The paws of our cat wouldn't be this small. True, this did look more like the paw print of an ordinary or even smallish cat, though I did somewhat suspect the girl may have been overstating Mi's size somewhat. So then, it seems like a different cat has been pushing its way into our target's home territory. What? Really? It certainly seems that way. Your cat's scent is fading, so another one's moved in. Wait, can he actually pick up on the smells they marked their territories with or something? This way. Ruijerd had apparently reached some sort of conclusion that he didn't feel the need to share with us. He strode off down a side street and I quietly tagged along. It felt like we were making progress, although I wasn't quite sure how. Maybe this was how it felt to be poor old clueless Dr. Watson. No worries, folks. We've got the best sleuth on the continent on the case. He'll track down the criminals with his peerless investigative techniques, knock them flat with demon-style baritsu, and squeeze out a confession with a few pointed questions. Make way for great Detective Ruijerd. Found it. This is probably the one, Ruijerd said, pointing at a nondescript section of the street. I couldn't have told you what he'd found or why he felt the need to add on that probably. There weren't any paw prints here that I could see. Follow me. Ruijerd set off again at once, moving forward steadily. Without hesitation, he led us through a series of side streets that seemed to get narrower and narrower as we went. If nothing else, these looked like the type of alleys you'd expect a cat to be slinking through. I still had no idea what sort of trail Ruijerd was following, but it seemed to be going pretty smoothly so far. Look at this. There's signs of a struggle here. We'd come to a halt in a dead-end alley. Whatever signs Ruijerd had found there, they weren't too subtle for me. I couldn't see any bloodstains or scratches in the dirt. This way. Turning on his heel, Ruijerd took the lead once again. It kind of felt like Eris and I were just along for the ride. Talk about a low-stress job. We passed through a few side streets, cut across a boulevard, and headed into another side street. From there, we made our way into a back alley, then passed on to another side street, and so on and so forth. After moving briskly through the city's maze-like street for some time, we took a sudden turn into a very different part of town. Everything here was run down and desolate. The buildings were crude, unpainted, and crumbling from neglect. Some of the men we passed shot us ominous looks. There were people lying sprawled out along the street, and many of the children were in filthy rags. We were in a slum now. The change hadn't been a gradual one either. It was more like we stumbled right into the heart of it. Within moments, I was on high alert. Eris, be ready to draw your sword at any time. But why? Just to be on the safe side. Also, keep an eye out on the people we pass in the street, and try to watch your back. Okay. It felt like a good idea to put Eris on her guard as well. We probably weren't in much real danger with Ruijerd around, but I didn't want us slipping up due to complacency. The two of us really ought to protect ourselves. With that in mind, I reached into my inner breast pocket and clutched tightly at my money pouch. I didn't have that much cash to lose, but it would still be a disaster if someone swiped it. Sometimes, one of the rougher-looking guys we passed would stare menacingly at Ruijerd. When he glared right back, they tended to click their tongues and look away. In this sort of neighborhood, people who could throw a good punch probably inspire more respect than adventurers. Excuse me. Is this really where the cat went, Ruijerd? We'll see. The reply wasn't particularly reassuring. We weren't just wandering around aimlessly here, were we? Oh no, Ruijerd's just being his tight-lipped self. I'm sure he's got us on the right track. Let's just keep telling ourselves that. We ended up walking through the slums for some time, but eventually Ruijerd drew up short in front of a certain building. This is it, right here. A crude flight of stairs in front of us led down to a nondescript door. It looked like the entrance to some underground bar inhabited by punk rockers with weird haircuts. But there wasn't any thumping music floating up from below or bald guys with sunglasses standing by the door to keep an eye on the clientele. On the other hand, there was a thick animal stench coming from down there. The sort of smell you might catch a whiff of while walking past a big pet shop. In a literal sense, or excuse me, in a less literal sense, you could practically smell crime in the air. How many people are inside the Ruijerd? None. There are a large number of animals, however. Excuse me. All right then, shall we? If there was no one in there right now, there was no reason to hesitate. The door at the bottom of the stair was locked naturally, but I opened it easily enough with a bit of earth magic. Shooting a quick glance around the area to make sure no one was watching, I slipped in, waited for Regard and Eris to follow, then closed and locked the door from the inside. Kind of felt like we were burglars or something. At a glance, all I could see was a long, dark corridor stretching out in front of us. Can you keep an eye out behind us, Eris? No problem. Presumably, Regard would know if anyone came after us, or came in after us, but it couldn't hurt to be extra careful. The three of us moved deeper into the building, with Regard in the lead once again. A small door at the end of the main corridor opened up into a small room with another door at its far end. As we passed through the second door, a deafening chorus of animal cries instantly filled the air. We reached the room at the very back of the building. It was absolutely packed with cages. There were countless animals locked up in here, cats, dogs, and a variety of creatures I'd never seen before, all crammed in with space about the size of a high school classroom. What is this? Eris said, her voice trembling. My first thoughts were roughly along those lines as well, but it also occurred to me that given the number of animals in here, there was a good chance the one we were looking for was among them. Regard, is the cat in here? Yes, he responded instantly. That's the one. He was pointing at something that looked very much like a black panther. The thing was huge, absolutely huge. Had to be twice as big as Maisel had indicated with her arms. Is that seriously the one we're looking for? Of course, look at its collar. The beast did, in fact, have a collar, and the name Me was, in fact, printed on it. Wow, I guess it really is me, huh? Technically, we'd now Sorry, what?
Said it was a Black Panther. Wakanda forever.
Oh, I couldn't hear you murmur.
Did he ever
Fucking
yield?
damn it.
Is he still the king?
Good. Black Panther
Oh,
me.
God.
Whoa. Technically, we now completed our task. Once we took this panther out of its cage and dragged it back to the little girl, we were done. That said, what about all these other guys? There were quite a few of them with collars around their neck or bracelets on their legs, and some of those had names written on them. In other words, a whole bunch of these animals were obviously pets. I'd also noticed a big, careless pile of ropes and things that looked like muzzles in one corner of the room. The ropes in particular seemed to suggest some capturing had been going on here. There was someone snatching unique pets off the street and selling them off to other people, maybe? Seemed like a perfectly plausible scheme. I had no idea if there were any specific laws about this sort of thing in this world, but it had to be some sort of crime. I mean, it was a form of theft at the very least. Suddenly, Regard turned his head back towards the entrance. Eris reacted at almost exactly the same time. Someone's come in after us! The animals were making such a racket that I personally hadn't heard a thing. Regard aside, I was genuinely impressed Eris had even noticed. That said, what were we going to do about this? It wouldn't take much time for them to get here from the entrance. Was running an option? No, not really. The only way out was through that corridor. Okay, let's capture them, I guess. I didn't really consider the option of just talking things over. We broke into this place. It's like a bunch of thieves, after all. It did seem to be a crime scene, but there was still a possibility it had some legitimate purpose, which would make us the criminals here. Right now, we needed to take these people into custody. If they were good guys, we could cajole them into keeping quiet about this. And if they were bad guys, we could punch them until they promised not to talk. A few moments later, I was standing over 3 people, 2 men, 1 woman, who were lying unconscious on the floor in the corner of the room. After restraining them with handcuffs I made using earth magic, I splashed some water on their faces to wake them. One of the men immediately began yelping and yowling, so I promptly gagged him with a rag that was nearby. Or was lying nearby. The other 2 kept quiet, but I ended up gagging both of them as well. It was better to be fair and impartial with these things. With all this done, I found myself pondering a certain question. How exactly did it come to this? I mean, we'd taken on a simple E-rank job to find a lost cat. Nothing too dramatic. Regard said he could handle it, so I had him take charge. And it ended up falling into some sort of slum. In said slum, we broke into a building with tons of animals inside it, at which point we found ourselves taking multiple people captive, which was absolutely not what we were here to do. This had to be the man god's fault, huh? Or our fault, right? He obviously foresaw this happening. What a headache. I really should have gone with some other job. Anyway, let's take a careful look at our captives. Man A. Orange skin, compound eyes like a fly, with no whites. He was kind of gross to look at. This was the one who had started squawking like a cicada when I woke them. He seemed like something of a crude customer, the sort of guy who'd be good in a bar fight. I was pretty sure I'd seen a picture of his race in Roxy's dictionary. I couldn't quite recall what they were called. Their saliva was apparently poisonous. I remember wondering if they could even kiss each other. Man B. This one had a lizard head, slightly different in shape and coloration from the snake face we run into at the city's front gate. Given his reptilian features, it was hard to tell his expression, or read his expression, but I could see intelligence in his eyes, and that made me wary of him. Woman A, another bug eye type. Her head looked something like a bee's. I could still tell she was pretty frightened at the moment, I guess her face was in the gross category too, but she had a nice figure, which basically canceled that out. Well then, we're not going to make any progress while I just stand here staring at them. Time for a little chat. No, let's be honest. This is going to be an interrogation. Who to start with, though? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Who was going to spit out information more willingly, the woman or one of the men? The woman was definitely afraid. If I threatened her a little, there was a chance she may tell me everything right away. Then again, women were known to lie. Some of them were perfectly capable of telling ridiculous, incoherent nonsense to get themselves out of trouble. Okay, so probably not all women were like that, of course, but my big sister sure as hell was. It used to make me so angry that I'd have a hard time figuring out what the actual truth was. Maybe I'd start with one of the men instead. How about Man A? He was the bulkiest of the group and had a scar on his face. Looked like their best fighter. He was also agitated at the moment. Probably wasn't the sharpest tool in the shed. Judging from the way he was shouting, Sorry, it took every bit of my body not to say the other parts, but anyway. Judging from the way he was shouting, "Who the hell are you people?" and "Take these damn handcuffs off me," before I gagged him. Or Man B. It was hard to read much from his face, but he seemed to be observing the three of us carefully. That meant he wasn't just stupid. And if he wasn't stupid, he probably had a few good lies worked out in advance in case something like this ever happened. So I decided to go with Man A. It was easier to manipulate someone who had lost their cool. With a little prodding and a bit of provocation, he'd probably slip up and tell me everything I wanted to know. And if it didn't work out, we could always try the other two. I've got a few questions I want you to answer. When I removed Man A's gag, he glared fiercely up at me, but didn't say a word. If you tell us what we want to know, we won't have to get rough with what? Rough halfway into my sentence, the guy actually kicked me. I've been squatting down to talk to him, so the blow knocked me totally off balance. Launched backwards, I rolled across the floor, only stopping when the back of my head smacked in the wall. Stars flashed across my field of vision. Ah! Damn it! Seriously, though, how stupid was this guy? Why would you kick someone who's already got you captured? He must not have even considered what may happen if he made us angry. Huh? Hey! What? Stop it! That was Eris's voice. I jumped to my feet in a blind panic. Had Man A slipped out of his handcuffs while I was thinking things over and somehow taken Eris hostage before Regid could react? What? Nope, Eris was fine. Couldn't say the same for Man A, though. Regid stuck his spear through the guy's throat. Eris was just looking on, her eyes wide with shock. Regid twisted his trident sideways as he pulled it back. Blood arced through the air and splattered against the wall. The force spun Man A around briefly before he fell face down into the floor. Blood was pouring from his throat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's way more visceral in the light novel, my guys.
Well, I guess I don't have to continue the Zoidberg voice anymore.
Like, oh, thank God, that was the worst voice for me to do.
You had the voice.
Yeah.
You had the voices backwards. The guy that's alive. No, wait.
He's a
the
lizard.
Fly guy died.
Yeah, the Fly guy got
Okay,
destroyed.
the Fly guy.
Man B was the lizard, and then the lady was the bee-like woman.
Gotcha.
I think. Yeah.
All right.
A dark stain crawled slowly across his back, and a red puddle spread out underneath him. The metallic stench was sickening. With one final reflexive twitch, the man stopped moving. He was dead. He'd died without saying a single word. Regid had murdered him in cold blood. Why? Why did you kill him? I asked, conscious of the fact that my voice was shaking. This wasn't the first time I'd seen a person die. Ghislaine had killed someone to save me and Eris after all. But this was different somehow. For some reason, I was trembling. For some reason, I was deeply afraid. Why? What's got me so scared? The fact that a man had died? Ridiculous. People died all the time in this world. Most trivial reasons. I was well aware of that. Maybe it was just because I'd never seen it happen up close and personal before? But in that case, why didn't I react this way when Ghislaine killed those men during the kidnapping incident? Because he kicked a child, Regid said, his voice calm and indifferent. He spoke like a man answering the most obvious question. Ah, right, now I get it. I'm not afraid because I just saw someone die. I'm afraid because Regid killed that man. Without a second thought, just because he kicked me. I'm afraid of Regid. Roxy had warned me, hadn't she? There are many differences in what's commonly accepted in human culture versus demon culture, so you might not know what words will trigger an outburst. So what was I going to do if Regid ever turned his wrath on me? The man was strong as Ghislaine, or even stronger. Was it possible for me to beat him with my magic? I could probably put up a fight at least. I'd work out multiple strategies for head-on or head-to-head fights against close-range combat specialists. But for whatever reason, many people, the people in my life fell into that category, including Paul, Ghislaine, and Eris. Regid was probably the single strongest of them. It was hard for me to say with any confidence that I could take him. But if I were fighting to kill him from the very start, there are plenty of things I could try. But what if he went after Eris, though? Could I possibly protect her as well? No, not a chance. You can't kill someone just for that! Why not? The man was evil. Regerd was wide-eyed at my flustered objection. He seemed genuinely and totally bewildered. Well, how could I possibly explain this? What did I want from Regerd here? In the first place, why was it an issue that he'd killed that man? I didn't really have a standard sense of morality. Back when I was a shut-in loser, I'd snorted with disdain at preachy phrases like, "It's wrong to kill." Hell, I barely felt anything when my own parents died. I knew things were going to get rough for me, but at the same time, my general attitude was pure crystal boy. Tell that crap, dumbass, I'm junkie jacking off. Fuck. I don't think that's the voice he had when he was like that, but
No.
needless to say, or he'd be like, to hell with that crap, dumbass, I'm jacking off. Yeah, there you go. That's closer to how he was. Needless to say, if I tried to feed Regerd some cookie-cutter ethical argument, it was going to come out weak and unconvincing. Look, there's a very good reason you shouldn't go around killing people. Okay, I'm pretty shaken up, let's acknowledge that. I'm kind of freaking out, but I'm still going to think this through. First of all, why was I trembling? Because I was scared. Because I'd seen Regerd, who always seemed like such a kind-hearted guy, kill a man without even blinking. I thought the spared were a peaceful people who'd simply been misunderstood. That clearly wasn't the case. I didn't know about his tribe as a whole, but at the very least, Regerd was a killer. He'd been killing his enemies ever since the Laplace War era. This murder was just another typical entry in a long, long list. Couldn't say for certain he'd never turn his spear on Eris or me, I couldn't say for certain whether he'd turn his, or he'd never, I couldn't say for certain he'd never turn his spear on Eris or me. I wasn't the sort of pure-hearted, honest person who could earn Regerd's respect. Someday, somehow, I'd probably end up getting on his bad side. It was one thing if he got angry at me, since we had different ways of thinking. Sometimes our opinions would diverge. That was just inevitable. We'd probably get into fights every once in a while. That said, I wasn't planning to fight him to the death. No matter what the situation, our disagreements couldn't escalate into violence. I had to make Regerd understand that, here and now, before it was too late. Please, listen carefully, Regerd. Problem was, I still couldn't find the right words. What was I supposed to say, damn it? How could I make him understand? Should I just plead with him not to kill the two of us, at least? I'm just being stupid. Just the other day, I'd convinced Regerd that I was a warrior, fighting with him as an equal. I wasn't under his protection. I was his comrade. I couldn't start pleading with him now. A flat cut it out wasn't going to work either. I needed to come up with something that would actually convince him, or this would be completely pointless. Think, man, why is Regerd with you in the first place? He wants everyone to know the Spurred aren't really bloodthirsty devils. If he goes around killing people, he's only going to make their reputation worse. That sounded right. It was the same reason I told him to avoid fights with other adventurers. The public already had an awful impression of his people, no matter how many good deeds he did to change that. All his progress would go down the drain if people saw Regerd commit a murder. Everyone would revert to their original assumptions about his kind. Okay, this is why he couldn't kill people. We didn't want anyone getting the impression that the Spurred were a tribe of mindless beasts, right? If you keep killing people, it's going to make the reputation of the Spurred even worse. Even if the people I kill are evil. It doesn't matter who. If you're killing anyone, that's a problem. I was speaking deliberately now and choosing my words with care. I don't understand, Rudius. When a Spurred kills someone, it's not viewed the same way as when someone else does it. It's the equivalent of being slain by a monster. Regerd scowled a bit at that. I guess it sounded like I was bad-mouthing his people. I still don't understand. Why would that be the case? Everyone thinks of you as a part of a tribe of vicious devils. They think you're maniacs who kill at the drop of a hat, or even the slightest provocation. Okay, this did sound harsh, but then again, it really was the general consensus. Our goal was to change that. It's easy to go around telling people that the Spurred aren't really monsters, but if you prove the rumors untrue through your actions, you might start changing a ton of minds. On the other hand, you'll ruin everything if you start killing people. Everyone will assume they were right about your race all along. Surely that isn't true. Is this really not ringing any bells, Regerd? Have you ever helped some people out and started getting friendly with them, only to have them suddenly turn on you? I have. At this point, I could feel my argument finally coming together. Well, here's the thing. We don't kill anyone at all from now on. Yes. Everyone will realize that the Spurred are normal, rational people. Was that really true? Would simply refraining from murder be enough to convince the people of this world that his tribe was reasonable? This wasn't the time to think about it. It wasn't wrong either way. Regerd had obviously killed too many people. The general populace thought the Spurred were killers by their very nature, but if we stopped killing, we had a chance to change their minds. It was logical enough, wasn't it? If you care about your tribe, don't kill any more people, Richard. Not a single one. Normally, you had to make judgment calls about these things. Killing might ordinarily be wrong, but in certain circumstances it could be justified or even necessary. But I didn't know the standards by which the residents of this world made those calls, and Richard's personal criteria were probably extreme. The man didn't give you any room for error, and it was hard to know where he drew the line. In that case, it was simplest and safest to just forbid him from killing altogether. What if no one's watching? Wouldn't it be all right then? I had to fight a powerful urge to facepalm. What was he, a grade school kid? Had this guy seriously been alive for 500 years? You may think no one's watching, but people see things anyway. There's no one else in this building, I assure you. Ah, crap, right. He's got that stupid eye on his forehead. There was still someone watching, Richard. From where? Right here, man. Eris and I saw the whole thing, didn't we? Don't kill anyone from now on. Please. We don't want to be afraid of you either. Very well, then. In the end, I'd basically resorted to the teary-eyed plea approach. My words didn't sound entirely convincing, even to myself. Still, Richard nodded, and that was all that mattered. Thank you, Richard. I bowed my head to him in gratitude and noticed that my hands were shaking. Calm down. This sort of thing happens all the time. Deep breaths. It was proving difficult to calm myself. My heart didn't want to stop racing. I shot a glance over at Eris, wondering how she was handling this. To my surprise, she didn't look afraid in the slightest. The look on her face basically said, "You startled me a little there, but I guess a piece of trash like that deserved to die." Okay, maybe she wasn't actually thinking anything quite that cruel. Well. Well.
I mean, that one guy probably deserved it, so it's fine.
I mean, he did kick him really hard. But she was standing in her typical pose, arms folded, feet wide apart, chin in the air. The girl was shaken up. She was doing her best not to let it show. And here I was, freaking out for everyone to see. Talk about pathetic. My hands finally stopped trembling. All right, let's get back to questioning, shall we? Trying to ignore the smell of blood still hanging in the air, I forced myself to smile.
There we are. That's more or less what we're gonna call it for the reading portion. Now the review portion, guys. Obviously, I don't think like too much has changed from this, but like it just seems so much more visceral when you're doing it in the light novel. You know?
Yeah, I mean it's what's the word? I think you can take your time with it here, you know. And he did kill him in like an instant, both here and in the anime, so that hasn't changed. But
yeah, no,
it still feels like
that was more
well.
fun.
Yeah, I think that the description and the thoughts that you were feeling were definitely a lot like, oh fuck, you know. 'Cause I mean, like, what would this be like? It would be like if you're playing Final Fantasy VII or something like that, and then Barrett just like fucking crunched a guy's head off, you know. Like when no word or anything, or Aerith did that. Aerith would probably be the scarier one to do that.
No, absolutely would be.
Like just fucking like snap the guy's neck right in front of everyone.
It seemed like he impaled him and just like held him up like, yep, you're dead.
Yeah, but I mean, he knows how to kill and he does it extremely well. But yeah, it's like the fear racing throughout his body was a lot scary, or a lot more clear here than in the anime. In the anime, you could still tell he was scared, but like here was like, oh fuck, holy shit.
Yeah, it was definitely crazier. The intensity is like dialed up in the light novel versus the anime. I think honestly, I think that's kind of where we're at on this. Yeah.
The lizard man.
So there we are, guys. That is the show for today. I know it was only 2 chapters, but those were 2 long-ass chapters. One of them, like, we had 22 pages on one of them. Like, these were not short things to move. And we went from 41 to 55% of the way through here. So we moved. We moved quite a bit. If I go, all right, we're on page 188 with the beginning of chapter 10. If I go over to chapter 8, we're on page 140. So we moved a ways. We moved quite a ways. So we definitely did 48. It does not feel it because we only moved 2 chapters. But yeah, we did 48 pages today. Sorry
That's not
that
bad.
yeah, Sonic, sorry. I thought we were actually going to get to more Adventurers Guild moments. But we'll hit
Wh-
that up
Where?
next
When
week
is that actually?
Yeah,
when we get to the.
I should have
Adventures
asked that
Guild.
initially.
I think it's after this, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it is.
Like,
kinda
once they
after
get
this.
back?
they have to go. They have to go back to the Adventurers Guild at least a couple of times, and there's multiple Adventurers Guilds they're gonna go to, where
Yeah.
stuff is gonna happen.
I'm just the first one. Or this
Yeah.
first guild.
Well,
Yeah, you're
Does
the
that mean I'm the
next
horse
one.
guy?
Yeah, everybody.
No Kapara.
Dude, everybody
okay.
has to be. Everybody gets to be someone. Like
No.
when- so Moon was the horse guy last time because he was everybody. You're
Yep.
gonna be everybody next time around. Shim's gonna be
Oh,
everybody.
okay.
Then I'm gonna be everybody. Like that's how it's gonna go.
Mhm.
Like big group scenes. And guys, there's gonna be Adventurers Guilds all the way until Volume 7, and then we get to the school. And then once we get to the school, it's the same thing all over again.
Except it's with
Oh, okay.
students.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, students and teachers and faculty and yeah, all that.
Speaking of the school, because that's season 2 content. Shim, let's
Hmm.
get that. Let's get your report card from Ashoku Tensei. Where are you at in
I'm
season
done.
2? Yeah.
I was gonna
Yeah.
ask. I was assuming like at this point he
I
had to
figured
be.
you were basically done. All right, let's talk about it. Guys,
Yep.
if you have not seen season 2, this is where we're like, oh man, mute
We're
us for a
gonna-
moment and then wait for us to do the raid because we're gonna be raiding Yui Kai
Yeah.
tonight.
Yeah.
She's streaming right now. She's gonna be playing Battlefront 2
Nice.
tonight, which is really funny.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
that's great.
Man, I'm
also,
te-
it's a
I'm
chance.
tempted
Almost
to
makes
join
me
it.
wish
Also,
I had that game.
Also,
I'm
Shim,
tempted.
Monkey cosplay
Shim,
in
it
order.
is also a thing we are going to introduce you to her tonight.
Mhm.
Oh,
Shim.
okay.
Yeah. So
Alright.
Oh wait,
Yeah.
no, Shim, you might have to. Don't you have
So
to go to
do
sleep?
I-
Do you have work tomorrow?
I do have work tomorrow.
well, you
but-
don't not staying up, but like
Okay.
introducing
Oh,
you
you
in
mean-
chat and stuff. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's
yeah,
fair.
yeah.
All right.
Like
so
5 more minutes, basically.
Let's
Mm.
quickly talk about the anime. What did you think of season 2 now that you've seen the whole thing? What are your thoughts on
Sad.
it? Yeah, right?
I'm
It's
sad.
because you've got the last bit of it fresh in your mind, isn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, it was good, but it was just kind of like,
Yeah.
ouch.
Also,
That
it's
sucks.
way more introspective in the second.
I mean,
in
like-
the second season versus the first season.
Yeah, I mean, I was still, what was it? Okay, there's like 3 talking points really from the whole takeaway of this is the whole Rudius Roxy marriage thing.
Yeah.
That's one. Paul's death, that was fucking brutal. And then the state that his mom is in is like, oh,
Also,
Sad.
All right, so I don't remember us getting very far into this, so I kind of want to hear.
yeah.
I kind of want to hear this from. So when Regerd showed back up.
Yeah, that was cool. That was cool to
and
talk
with
to
the,
as
with
well.
the sisters, with his
Yeah.
sisters, that was so cool. Like, cause it's
Yeah,
like,
that
oh
was
my
nice.
god, I forgot how much I missed Regerd.
Yeah.
God dang it.
Well, he was like, oh yeah, or when Paul was like, oh yeah, a new guy joined our party or our guild and da 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 da. You might know him. I was like, oh fuck, it's him. Oh fuck, it's him. It's Noko Para. You know,
Jesus
I
Christ,
got
that's
really excited.
Jason Bourne.
it's his born again identity on
In-
Dad's
in-
Day in
in-
anime too. Oh
in
yeah,
Rui-
that was true. That was true.
Uh.
When Paul got killed, it happened to be on Father's Day.
Ah, that fucking
Yeah.
sucks.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
they killed Paul
They-
in the anime, it was
they
on Father's
planned it
Day.
that way.
Those
That
sons
is
of-
a
now
fucked
here's
up
the
deal.
here's the fucked up part. Japan also celebrates Father's Day on the same day, so they knew that what they were doing.
Oh
It
yeah.
Yeah,
wasn't-
that sucks.
It wasn't accidental. It wasn't a happy accident. No. They planned that shit. Those sorry bastards. They
Damn.
killed
Happy
Paul on
Father's
that
Day.
hurts.
Cry.
Happy Father's Day.
I mean, technically, he's also a dad too, but ouch.
I mean, it's a
Wow.
smart way. It makes you appreciate your actual father in a way.
It
Yeah.
does. It,
Still though, I was like,
appreciate
Yeah.
your dad.
It
You
really
never know
makes
how
you
long they're
work.
gonna be around.
I mean, I
Yeah,
kind
they
of.
make.
Unless
Don't
they
go
went,
to a dungeon raid with them.
unless they went for milk when you were like really young, then fuck that guy.
Or
Yeah.
cigars.
I don't know.
Shimon.
I felt it in my blood because he was like, when they were outside the portal, when they had to go back and reanalyze their strategy, and he was like, make it, Rudy, live, and to do it. I was like,
Like, what the
Gonna
fuck
fucking
are you not
die.
mad as
Like-
as me?
I think it's just because I've watched too much anime, but it's like, oh, he's gonna fucking die. It's gonna suck.
Oh yeah. Did you
You
even
know?
catch the thing I said? I think it was like last stream or the stream before. It's like, hey Dad, what's up with that red shirt? Oh, it was like the only thing I found in my laundry that wasn't dirty. So, Just
Yeah,
decided
pretty
to wear it
much,
today.
Like the only thing that would have completed it would have been like, oh yeah, I'm retiring from adventuring after this, and I'm like, okay, it's fucking.
Uh-huh.
Send it.
Oh yeah, he's
Yeah.
definitely dying.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
definitely
I was-
dying.
That would
I
have
was
been
like,
Crimson.
oh fuck.
All right,
I knew he
so-
was gonna die, but it was like it still hurt, and I was like, ah.
All right,
Fuck
guys.
Oh yeah.
So that is basically it for us. We have wrapped up our discussion about the anime and the light novel. Don't forget, guys, there's some amazing stuff we'll be talking about coming up next season. There's some really good shit. Shim, if
Yep.
you have not seen what the fall lineup has entail, holy crap, my dude.
For anime in general, or
Yeah. Dude,
Yeah,
we're getting
I guess we can
season
go take a
5
look.
of Don Machi. Is it wrong to pick up Girls in a Dungeon? We're getting
Oh, that
season
one, okay.
5 of
Oh,
that
yep.
over on High
my
Dive,
friend really
and-
likes that one.
Oh no,
I
it
love
gets
that one.
better. This one, this time Freya is finally making her move on Belle. So there we go.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh.
I know Dragon Maid's getting a third season.
Well, not a third season. It's getting a
It's
movie.
in a movie.
Yeah, it's a
Oh,
movie.
it's a movie.
It's
oh,
a
okay, never
movie.
mind.
And then when we saw the trailer, it was like, oh, that's nice. And then we heard the last line, and we're like,
Sayonara.
no.
Yeah.
No, because it's the little dragon girl saying goodbye to Kobayashi, and we're like, no, why?
Mhm.
Yeah.
No, not okay. No.
Sayonara,
no.
Kobayashi-sama.
Okay, I pretty much can. I feel like I can. I haven't seen anything but the one image of her, like the shadow of her crying or whatever.
Dude,
I'm like,
I can't find it
okay, I
anymore
think
'cause
I can
it got
understand what's gonna
taken down.
happen.
But I like the Kobayashi thing when they had the when the little girl showed up when Kana shows up. and
Anna.
It's like in this like abridged parody version. There's like, human feed me.
Oh yeah, like it's an adult
Yeah.
male.
yeah, it's
instead
an
of a big-
adult male voice coming out, and it's so.
I
fucking good.
remembered
love
that.
it.
Yeah.
It's so good. All right, so that's it, guys.
Yep.
We are about to raid Yuikai.
Thanks for coming.
So thank you guys
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah.
Of course, once again, guys, don't forget that we are now the Fat Dog Book Club when we raid from this. Oh,
Yes.
no. What did we? What? Oh
Fat
no,
Dog-
there's an ad. No, not an ad. No, I clicked the wrong thing. Damn it. Sorry.
Well,
I can't believe you
Well.
you decided to activate the ads now of all
Yeah, I
times,
know.
Richie.
I activate the ads now. Okay, so there we go. We're rating. Damn it.
we're rating.
right. All right, so we got 10 viewers.
Rating.
1 second. All right, so here we go with the raid. Everybody say hi. Fat Dog Book Club raid. That's all you need to say. All right, ready?
Everybody say hi.
Go.
Everybody say hi.
And turning off the stream now.